Arsenal. Yeah, but Arsenal has just low standards. It doesn't really count. I'm talking about a big club, innit? Like,
Phase of the problem. Ollie's fine. It's just no, stop it, guys.
How does it go? It's coming home. It's coming home. Football is coming home. Is that how the saying goes? Is it? All right, allegedly. All right, okay, allegedly, it's coming home. All right, we are almost halfway through the second round of group games. England have just played Scotland, and it has resulted in a, in my opinion, enjoyable 0-0 draw. Other England fans have other things to say, I know. So we might do Fraudwatch a bit differently tonight. With me, I've got, apparently he's Southgate out. I don't know why. I think Southgate's doing a really good job. 2 semi-finals back-to-back, you know, put a respect on his name. We've got One Rovers Vlog.
Yo.
And we've got a Spanish fan, apparently. Samuel.
Yeah, how's it going? You know, it's good to have a great manager, great coach to lead your team, you know. Treble-winning coach to lead your national team. It feels great. You know, instead of having someone who got Middlesbrough relegated, I mean, it just feels good, isn't it?
Already. Samuel's smiling. He does, because he's saying Spanish managers won a treble because his manager hasn't won a treble. But we continue. We do Fraudwatch a bit differently. Should we just attack the England team and talk about them, or?
I think that's the only place we can go to now. I mean, because the whole, you know what, I was a little bit mad because England, listen, sometimes I do. Listen, occasionally my brother's a big, massive England fan, and this what we're angry tonight. So wasted 90 minutes. Scotland showed what is there, and I think, listen, I'm not going to be biased, but I think Tini was the best player on the pitch. Come on, Tini Robertson, the right fullback. I can't remember the right back's name for Scotland. Wait,
yeah, O'Donnell.
O'Donnell was sensational tonight. I mean, you know, the amount of desire he showed going forward and back. But I think, you know, you should hang their heads in shame in England tonight is Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, and mostly the Man City players because they didn't do a rat's ass. Even Harry Kane, England's so-called greatest ever leader, great captain, leader, legend, Harry Kane, he wasn't missing tonight. I don't know what you think about that, but I think I said earlier we should Frank Lampard should become England manager. And I did get clowned for it, but better than Southgate. I mean, do you think if Gareth Southgate was Chelsea manager, would he get Chelsea top 4 or to a cup final? He wouldn't do that. And everyone can agree that Lampard is better than Southgate by far. It's clear.
Lampard shouldn't be managing England.
You don't think so, but he's better than Southgate, isn't he?
So that's like me saying that's like saying, well, Samuel, I'm better than you at boxing, so I can fight Anthony Joshua. I can't fight.
That's what Terry just said to me earlier.
Exactly, and Terry's right. Lampard shouldn't get the England job.
Well, he's better than Southgate. I mean, you could.
No.
Southgate's this
Yeah, he is. He's way better than Southgate. Come on.
That doesn't mean that's like, okay, again, that's like saying.
Prime Minister, but hold
on. That's like saying because O'Donnell's a better right back than Bellerin. No, because he's not an elite level right back. So you still have the same problems. Like, no, Lampard shouldn't be managing England. I understand what you're trying to say. He's better maybe than Southgate, but no, he shouldn't be managing England. Because you'd still have the same problem. You guys would play open attacking football, but you'd be so poor defensively because your defense in general is bad.
No, listen. I think any manager, you can choose the right selections, choose the perfect right lineup, choose a decent starting 11, and uses his brain, will do a better job than Southgate. It's a fact. Because Southgate doesn't use his brain. We could all see from the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes what Scotland are going to do. They're going to hit in the counter and just have a low block. Full forward weren't working. Raheem Sterling weren't working. He took off Harry Kane and he brought Marcus Rashford. Like, come on. You got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, scored over 15 goals in the Premier League on the bench, and you bring on Marcus Rashford. He doesn't even play as a striker in the Premier League. He plays on the left. I mean, there's no logic behind Mr. Southgate. He got says it OBU or MBU, whatever he got. He doesn't deserve that. It's embarrassment that he even got that.
I mean, we've got an actual England fan here, so take it away.
Charlie Rant now, honestly.
Yeah, apparently you're Southgate out, so take it away.
I mean, it was just awful. Like even though, like, when you look at the starting 11, like even Foden, like, he's not even a right winger. I don't even know why he's playing right wing. But you know, there's more stuff like that. Just the tactics, like the football was awful. Like, and for some reason, I don't really want to agree with Graham Souness, but it's true what he said about, Scotland look like a team. England players, literally look like they've never played, with each other in a starting, 11. And then the subs. I mean, the subs are crazy. Even you got, Sterling was awful. Even Mount, I mean, it was pretty much everyone. There wasn't many good players. Like even like Reece James, like he's an attacking fullback for Chelsea. Yet for England, he's only like, I can remember him going like once or twice. Like it was just awful. Like the football just sideways, backwards. I mean, it was really poor. Like really poor. I mean, yeah. I mean, there ain't really much else to say other than Southgate out. It's just a joke. I mean, there's only one of the pundits that was actually speaking facts, and that was Ian Wright. Saying how much he didn't have a clue what he was doing with the subs. Like we were just saying about Rashford coming on up front. You got Sancho, who's on the bench. Sterling, awful. It's just crazy. Like even Kelvin Phillips tonight, even Rice, they were awful. Like they were meant to be two DMs, yet every time McGinn was just running forward. Even McTominay running out from centre back. McTominay and centre back is just a joke, man. Everything really. There ain't really much else to say other than this awful. And he needs to go.
No, not this one. I'm trying to look at. Because James was told not to, that's why. And this, yeah. Go back to base level. Why complicate things when England have one of the best teams? The thing is, you don't. I keep saying this. Like, I've had discussions on the terrace with the likes of KJ and whatever, people saying that England should be doing this based on, we've got Kane, we've got Foden, we've got Sterling, we've got... What did they do tonight? Nothing. Like, look, your defence as well. There's a reason why he has to play with two DMs, or he has to play a 5 at the back. Your defence is not good enough. Especially now, like, people don't rate Harry Maguire, but he is your best centre-back, and he's missing. And you can see how weak your defence is. I think the reason why James wasn't probably always flying forward was because of that defensive element that you need. Scotland are a good team. You've got to respect them. Like, they had chances, and they probably could have, if they had a better finisher. I think that's probably the only thing Scotland really lack. I mean,
yeah, they should have won. They literally should have won. Che Adams, how many chances did he have tonight?
Exactly.
And then
if they had Griffiths, because
Lee Griffiths. Yeah.
If they had him tonight, they could have won at 1-0.
Listen, you know what? If they had a decent striker, they have 6 points right now. Because the Czech Republic game, they had really a lot of good chances and they blew them. And even tonight, if there's someone, even like a decent striker, even the time Abraham up front, I think he'll put that chance away.
Yeah, probably.
They'll be in 6 points right now. They'll be higher than England, and they'll possibly going through to the round of 16. But you know what? I think Scotland outplayed England in all areas of the problems. They had more desire. That's the key thing.
Yeah. I mean, more fight. It was Scotland's biggest game. Since they were last in a European tournament. It's been. I mean, I think it was since I was born, like 96 or even 98. They were last in a. And like even Stones, yeah, people bigging up Stones, but even when he's not got Diaz there, I mean, he was getting bullied by a QPR striker tonight. Dykes plays for QPR, and he was getting even Mings was getting bullied by him all night. Him and Adams like up front, and then England just had nothing. I mean, obviously you can put the blame on Southgate, but obviously a lot of the players have got to take the blame as well because there was just nothing, just negative.
Listen, some games with Dykes have been pocketed, okay, by pace from Rotherham.
Yeah.
And these England players were struggling against him. It was just embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. But, I think the biggest fraud, I think it's not going to be Gareth Southgate, Prime. It's going to be Raheem Sterling. Because, Raheem Sterling, yes, he may have gotten a win last Saturday, but that took away of how bad his performance was. From 180 minutes, 150 minutes of football. It's not Southgate, it's Raheem Sterling. No. The person next to me. No. The person that just appeared next to me, Prime. That was he one of him. Put that out there. Because he's a fraud as well, mate.
What? What did I do, Samuel?
Explain why.
Listen, your attorney, okay? Your clients, Mr. Havertz and Mr. Werner, pulled up a stinker on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday, in Munich, a Munich disaster class. Oh, no.
What are you talking about?
It was a disgusting performance, but they're not the biggest frauds of the week. Raheem Sterling is the biggest fraud of the week. Listen, Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho should be starting with Raheem Sterling, and that's a fact. He's twice the player that Raheem Sterling is. Why does Gareth Southgate not play Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho, and brings on Marcus Rashford instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin? It makes no sense.
Because they're two similar players and you need an inside forward.
No, but even then, Prime, just 5 or 10 minutes, just throw the light. Throw the towel in, okay? Not throw the towel in, but go all in. Just go all in. Just throw the desire the 5 or 10 minutes. You never know, it can make a difference. Like Scotland did, they made some. Listen, Scotland, the final 10 minutes said, Steve Clarke said to them, so is this the man drunk? I was saying, no, we can go for this. They brought on attacking players. I said, you know what, we're not scared of England. No one fears England. Scotland, they're not fear England. And we're supposed to believe England can win the Euros. No, there's no chance.
Man, that's just laughable. And then you've got, I mean, literally, I'm literally lost for words. I mean, even like I said before, like you're playing Foden. I don't think Foden's played right wing for Man City all season, and Southgate plays him right wing, and he's been playing on the left. I mean, at least if obviously a lot of England fans want him to start, but you can't do that if a player doesn't. It should be Grealish on the left, Sancho on the right. And then maybe Foden in the middle or just on the bench because you can't just keep doing that.
That's all. Yes. Sorry, no, sorry. Continue. Sorry.
I mean, I'd love to know what he does, what they do on the training pitch because they're all like smiling and like joking around. Then come to the game and they just didn't have a clue. There was no ideas, no leadership. Kane. I mean, with me, obviously Southgate out, but I'd probably put Kane in there because Kane. I don't even know what it is with Kane though. Obviously he was getting no service, but he was trying to come back, and then
I know the reason. He still thinks he's playing for Tottenham. That's the reason.
Yeah.
No, again, don't. No, Kane. I think he played well today. Kane. His job is to kind of drop. So that space can be available. That space can be available for Sterling to run in and make runs in. Sterling had chances. He had 1 or 2 chances today, and he blew it. That's not. I think Kane did his job. So it's different if you're saying Kane should be in the box and stuff. That's different. But Kane did his job tonight. He facilitated and created the space. Sterling had chances.
Nah, you can't make Kane. I mean, he's meant to be striker. How many times was Foden down the wing, and then he was looking for a cross in the box, and Kane was further back than Mount, and you're thinking what is the point? And then of course he takes him off. We needed height, and he brings on Rashford up front. I'd love to know what goes through Southgate's head, honestly.
I mean, Fator, you're are you English? Do you rep England? No.
I'm not English, but I do back in England a little bit, but I can't lie. I would put Joachim Low at the moment. Joachim Low on the Fraudwatch.
Why Joachim Low?
He didn't start my client first and foremost, and he put Muller and Havertz to play a partner alongside and up front. Doesn't link up really well, innit? So the game against France here, all I can see, like, why don't you try bring on Werner for about like literally like 60 minutes to the game? Germany was like breaking a wall. I was thinking that he should have brought Werner at that point, but he didn't. He literally had to wait till the 70th minute to bring Werner on, which is absolutely criminal to its own kind. But secondly, Alvaro Morata. That game against Sweden should have buried his chances. Spain could have been like 1-0, 2-0 up, but it's just like Morata of the 2017-18 season. But we've already discussed how bad Morata is in that season. But yeah, I'm not that surprised though about Morata at the moment. But here we are.
Wow, Morata.
So if you start German rain, I expect German rain to start tomorrow. I mean, I don't want Morata anyone near that lineup. But how can you see a manager that's won a World Cup, FIFA World Cup, and put him on Fraudwatch? I mean, Southgate's a real bomb, okay? Southgate hasn't won anything. You got Middlesbrough relegated.
Did you see the game against France? Yeah, he put Gnabry as a striker.
Okay, but he's leaving though, okay? He's leaving as coach, okay? There's nothing you can do about it. Hansi Flick will come in, and trust me, in a few months, Germany will be good again.
He put Gnabry as a striker, and lastly, Thomas Muller had an awful stinker in that game against France. Yeah, how come you left him on for about nearly the whole game? And Prime said it the other day. Oh, he's irreplaceable. Well, he's a 31, but he's not that good enough anymore. What
did I say?
Irreplaceable.
What, Muller? No, yeah, in terms of Bayern Munich. The thing is, Muller and Havertz are kind of similar in terms of they're both kind of like, I don't know, they're weird players. They're both kind of like false nine and space invaders, I guess. And then like they had Dosu playing, and then they had Gnabry, who is an inside forward. So there's like no real link between all of them. It was all like they should have played Werner in terms of pace and movement. Sané should have played instead, and I think you either drop Havertz or you drop Muller. But they can't, and even then, you shouldn't be playing a back. You shouldn't be playing a back three and wing backs. It's all awful all over the place.
Well, I know you're the host, but there's one man that's backstage right now. The man himself, the original number one Southgate hour. I heard he's backstage. Sorry, I know you're the host. It's the original OG, Mr. Always Outdoors. He's always outdoors.
All right, cool. Fator, I think you might have something to say about this guy as well, but
yeah. Go on, bring him on.
Oh, hold on. Nitin.
Make it quick.
There is
you wear a mask this time.
There is no vision. There is no mindset in this England football team. Southgate out.
Why are you Southgate out?
Well, how am I so mad? Because Southgate's a clown.
Why is he a clown?
Because he doesn't know how to manage a football team. Doesn't know how to manage. I want someone who's attack-minded.
You want? So it's because of his style of play, not because of. It's because of his style of play, not because
his style of play doesn't suit anyone, anything. Look, there are so many talents in this team. Granted, we're not on the same level as a France or even a Germany, but the talent is there.
Which talents do you guys have?
Grealish.
Okay, but it's Scotland. You're playing Scotland. Do you need Jack Grealish to beat Scotland?
Apparently. No, but it's a derby. Okay, you should never field a weakened team.
That's not a weak team.
Prime. On second thought, I put
Raheem Sterling.
Prime.
That's not weak.
Prime. Prime. On second thought, I put Nippon on Fraudwatch as well. Just
Why?
because he calling from somewhere else, maybe somewhere nearby maybe his strip club or something. I don't know where he is because it sounded like he's still doing. He's been simping with someone at least. So yeah, I put him on Fraudwatch. So.
Who's he simping?
No, listen, Nippon, yeah, the people on the Jubilee line on the underground, I think
Rocket
no,
science.
Yeah.
the people on the underground think you're chatting crazy. They're currently people looking at you and they're saying, "What's this guy saying?"
Nippon, are there any England fans around you?
Yeah, just in case. I'm not asked.
Let's ask their opinions as well what they think about Southgate, because I like him. I think he's doing a good job for you guys, honestly.
Yeah. You're just saying that because you're right.
No, again, I don't support
Oh,
Ireland.
that was Brian. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, look, even the dogs are living at Southgate. That says it all.
No, okay. Nippon, were you at Wembley? Were you in the stadium? Is this where you come back from? You come back from Wembley, or were you at the pub? Hello?
Just cut out. Get out. Game out.
I agree with him. The starting 11 was so negative. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's get some other people's opinions. We'll bring you back in, Nippon. I mean, Ryan.
Get out the underground. He needs to get out the underground first.
Yeah, big up, man. Everyone good?
Yeah, all good.
We're all here for the therapy session, Ryan. Oh, here we go.
Yo, I hate Southgate, man. I despise this guy. I presume someone's already put Southgate on Fraudwatch. I presume someone has already, innit?
Yo, I haven't.
Yeah.
but-
I'm gonna put Raheem Sterling on Fraudwatch.
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna say that, but damn.
I've been
This
calling
guy's
this guy.
a fraud. I don't care what anyone says in it. This guy's he's not that good in it. People overhype this geezer so much in it. Like he's not that good, man. Like he really isn't. Pep's system just works. I mean, I could say all I want about Southgate, but I'm guessing by Charlie's thinking there Southgate out that you've already criticised him enough. So I don't need to add to it. To be fair, if I had to it about Southgate, I'd probably get this channel taken down because I've had a few to drink in it. So like,
Cool. Keep talking. If it
What
starts
about
to get out,
Raheem Sterling, man? The fact that Southgate didn't take that loser off after instead of Foden in it, even though Foden weren't doing much, Sterling, man, he's been it. Like, I don't care what anyone says. This guy's a system player in it. He just thrives under Pep's system in it. If you put him anywhere else, man, and he ain't doing shit in it. Let's be honest, man. He's not that good in it. Like. And the fact that he's getting picked ahead of Grealish, Sancho, it's just a joke, innit? I'm sick of Raheem Sterling, man. The people overhype him so much. I'm not even saying that because he's ex-Liverpool and he left us, man. Like, even in his last season at Liverpool, he was shit, innit? When he didn't have Suarez carrying him, he was shit, Raheem Sterling. So this guy's a fraud, innit? I don't care, man. He's been on Fraudwatch for a long time for me, but today just confirmed it. I ain't going to lie. People want to gas him up for this goal against Croatia. First of all, it was a pretty shit finish, and he was shit the whole game as well in that one as well. So, man ain't having this Raheem Sterling hype, man.
Well, I'm still gonna say something.
Turning on your players.
Mr. Latimer's Prime. I'm on the underground right now, and I'm seeing this person in the corner chatting absolute waffle. He's speaking like a lunatic, isn't he? Like, can you take the comment off? I'm just on the underground. I'm looking at it. This bloke is absolutely chatting rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I mean, I don't know his guy's name. If you guys know him, I think you should come collect him. Yeah, he just came from a date. He looks a little lost. Please, can we help him? Justice for whatever that lad's name is. Listen. Look across the carriage. Look across the carriage, mate.
Nippon, what are you doing, man? You're still on the ground.
Don't be like that. Don't be rude, guys. But anyway, Donny, James.
Donny James, mate. There
Donny
he is.
James, what's up, Donny?
Right, guys.
Good. England.
Yeah, I'm coping. We've got a new right back and a new centre back, so I'm coping.
Did England buy a new right back and centre back?
No, we got a
Where's
new
your
right back
run,
and centre
Aaron?
back.
Yeah, where's your
Who's we?
where's your run?
You're English right now. The Euros is on. You're English.
No, it's
Yeah.
No, I'm happy that we've got a new right back and a new centre back, but England have just depressed me tonight.
Why are they depressing?
By the way, can I just say another thing about Raheem Sterling? Because I've not finished with this guy. Literally, like, everyone probably knows how much I criticize Mo Salah and how much I think he's overrated. I think everyone probably knows that, and everyone in the comments, everyone on this panel. I take Mo Salah every day of the week over Raheem Sterling. I'm being
Easily.
serious. I'm being serious. That's how bad I think Raheem Sterling is. I take Mo Salah all day of the week ahead of Raheem Sterling. I think Mo Salah's hella overrated as well, man.
Yeah. He's crap.
He's rubbish, man.
Did Prime
Sterling is just.
Did Prime just kick himself again?
I
Did it?
think.
I'm not sure.
Look, Raheem Sterling
Oh.
is just.
Joke.
He's just. He wouldn't even step foot in the Chemo Stadium, let alone get near it. He takes way too many touches. His first touch is appalling. His passes.
literally tonight.
He's just not got that much ability,
He
man.
should have been taken off. He should have been taken off. But
He took
Southgate
Foden
kept
off instead, man.
Do you know what tonight proved? I mean, you know what? We've kind of hid the cracks over the World Cup in 2018 when we got to that semi-final.
Yeah.
Tonight proved what England really are and what English football is: overhyped,
Fair.
overrated leagues with players that are paid way too much, and they are in a league that's been driven by foreign players. Foreign players are the drive for that league, not the English players, and they're getting paid more than them. And it was exposed today how overhyped and overrated most of the England players are.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Alan
plus you
Shearer
got-
said it. Alan Shearer said it after Iceland.
Do you know what the most
We think our
embarrassing
league's the
thing?
best.
Yeah. Do you know what the most embarrassing thing is? Billy Gilmore got man of the match though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy.
England made Scott McTominay look like Virgil van Dijk, man.
Billy
Innit?
extra minerals
Innit?
against £100 million. I think the entire squad, England squad, roughly about £100 million plus pounds.
Innit, though, like
200-ish.
Scott
Nearly
McTominay, like centre back,
McTominay, you
like
know.
running out with the ball to like nearly our own box. You know,
Ryan, your boy Robertson do well, you know.
Yeah, he's a good player still, but bro, like, fucking hell, man, like they just made everyone. They made every Scotland player look like fucking their
Prime
mid-position version of Lionel Messi in it. Like they were shit, England, man.
Yeah.
Che Adams looking dangerous, man. This guy's shit, man. Like fucking hell. Fucking
After watching
McTominay
that
looking
match-
like prime Paolo
Right.
Maldini, bro. Like
Che
come on,
Adams
man.
could have scored today, man.
Done with Southgate,
Mate.
man.
Mate, after watching that match, I think I need a lifetime contract to support from Dr. Phil.
but it was so
I mean-
bad. Like you got players like their right wing back O'Donnell was playing in
Oh.
League One 3 years ago against Donny and Rovers, and their striker at QPR, that Lyndon Dykes. I mean, and Stones had a nightmare. Stones was all over the gaff,
Yeah.
and Mings.
Oh.
Even Mings. Mings was
Yeah.
getting out jumped by that guy, and Adams looking like some prime, seasoned Premier League striker, and he's only had one season in the Prem. Che Adams.
Yeah.
It was just everything all over the park. They were better than us, all over the park.
Yo, wait till England come up. England will qualify, innit? Wait till they come up against like Mbappe, Ronaldo, whatever. Honestly, it'll be like 3-0 in the first 20 minutes, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. They made
Yeah.
If they made Che Adams look threatening, innit? Imagine when they come up against Mbappe and Ronaldo. These guys, fucking
Good
hell,
luck
man.
with that.
Their
be
right
long,
wing
innit?
back, O'Donnell plays for Motherwell. Motherwell.
Oh my god, man.
This is what I've been meaning though. Alan Shearer said it. We hype up our own league too much. We have to. What this is exposed.
I think we got to
We've known
criticize the manager as well.
No,
Man.
no,
There
no.
are players that are overrated in this team, like Sterling, innit? But like, we got to criticize this manager as well, mate. This
Oh no,
manager's
I'm not.
shit,
I'm not letting
man.
the manager get. I'm not letting the manager get away with it. He's been shit for years. He relegated Middlesbrough. That's all he's got in his CV. But to be perfectly honest, I know the manager needs to go. But to be perfectly and brutally honest, we are in a league where for the last 20 years the Premier League have let foreign players drive their English talent to higher wages, and they've been trying to drive the English talent to the forefront. And the British media is not going to blame players. They're going to give a positive press conference. They're going to do all this kind of stuff. But if Paul Pogba did what Phil Foden did with that new haircut and put in, performances, and if Paul Pogba did what Sterling did tonight, then he'd be crucified. And that's where the criminal in football, I guess you'd call it criticism.
The issue isn't the league. The issue is the issue is the real issue is the fans. You guys think your team is better than they actually are.
Yeah,
like you've got talented players, but you don't have But the issue is there's no chemistry between the players. Southgate is a part of the problem, but he's a part of the problem. You could definitely do better with a different manager. I'll be completely honest. One of the issues is the fact that there's this underlying facet that the manager of the England national team has to be English, and I don't get that. Like, there's not a single world-class English manager that exists in 2021. It just simply isn't a thing. So what you need is to bring in somebody who's foreign, but who knows that league, who knows that lifestyle, who knows that culture, who's just a better manager, and bring them in.
But Brian, to be fair with England fans, all I've seen, because I'm a foreigner, just like you, Brian. All I've seen from the England fans over the years, of course, ever since the whole back in the day, since '97, it's the hype of this, the hype of it's coming home thing. I'm not believing in that hype either, because it's been going for about nearly years after years after years. All England fans kept saying,
"Bro, it's coming home." What is this home, man? They're acting like fucking it belongs to them, man. They haven't won any shit for like 50 years, in it. Like, literally, it's coming home. It's coming. It's not been here for 50 years, in it. Like, get a grip.
Literally,
these England
55 years.
I don't even particularly have an issue with that, because I don't think that it's coming home is a problem, because as fans, that's what you have every right to be, as like over the top and support your club to the bone as much as you want. Sing as many songs as you want. Say that's what fans are for. Fans need to stop trying to be football analysts and just be fans again.
Yeah, but Brian, it's coming home. It's like an Arsenal fan saying the Champions League is coming home to the Emirates. It's never fucking been there in the first place. Like,
well, to be fair, I don't think I've ever heard an Arsenal fan say that. But I get where you're coming from.
I feel it's just trying to make some Arsenal slander feel better.
Right? Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I think that, like, if England fans want to say it's coming home, like, go for it. I don't have any issue with that at all. My issue is there's something the fans need to have serious questions about the English Football Association and the philosophy that they have and the types of people that they appoint for that job. Because you have had
that's what I mean.
You have had foreigners in the past, but they've been terrible, right? You've had like Sven Goran Eriksson, right? Like, he was in the seat at one point. But there are managers out there that are class, that are not English. But there's something in the English FA that there's this sort of national pride that exists with having an Englishman leading the English national team. And if you have an Englishman in that seat, I don't care who it is, you're not beating anybody. You're not beating anybody on that stage.
But Brian, even if there's still I agree with you about we don't even need an English manager. Like, that's not important. But like, there are English managers anyway. Like, people know I love Graham Potter in it. But like, I'm actually being serious here. Like, Graham Potter, like, maybe he wouldn't win like the World Cup or anything, but at least I'd be fucking entertained watching the team. He plays good football. At least I'd be entertained watching them. Fucking, that was the most boring game I've ever watched today. Honestly, England never looked like scoring, man. Except when
literally.
Honestly, at least I'd be entertained watching Graham Potter managing at least he'd know how to play the attacking players right and fucking play Jack Grealish and not bring him on and take the fucking wrong player off in the first place.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
yeah,
man.
but that's
Public
isn't
guy.
that's the paradox of fans too. We say that at least I'll be entertained, but if we're being entertained but we're not winning, we're being critical of not getting the job done, and so there
I
has
agree
to be
with that, but
so,
today,
so there
man,
there
today
has
was
to
the
be
worst thing
there
about
has
it
to
was
be a
boring, man.
there has to be a mix. There has to be a balance, and you need somebody who is going to be forward thinking, but also is good at their job. And again, I don't necessarily think that Southgate is particularly there's a level to which England's criticism, like England fans' criticism of Southgate, is probably a little over the top. But ultimately, the point is he's not good enough. He's not good enough. But the issue with me is with the Football Association in England needing to have an Englishman in that seat.
Santa.
You need to put
What am I
a
doing?
foreigner.
I'm
you
wearing
need
a
to put
mask, mate.
you need to put a foreigner in that seat who's a world class manager and let him run that team, and you'll be better. You'll be better. That and stop playing bang out of form players. Like that's another
Right.
issue with today, right? That's another issue with today too. Like when you play
Jurgen
players
Klopp could
like
do anything
when you
with this
play
England
players like
team.
Raheem Sterling, and Marcus Rashford who haven't been informed, they're
Why didn't you
wingers.
bring Calvert-Lewin on? He's
Well,
replacing Harry Kane.
yeah,
Didn't bring Calvert-Lewin on.
I don't know.
Why didn't he bring Sancho on? Sancho's just sat there on the bench.
Oh man, just don't get this.
Well, that's
Southgate's
the
got
thing
this neck,
too.
man.
That's the thing too. Is like when you play wingers, you get, it's easy to tell when a winger's out of form because a winger
Yeah.
who is out of form is going to always ask for the ball to feet. And in that game against Scotland, you got too many players on that field who need the ball to feet to be effective. You got to have somebody. You got to have a mixture of players who are who you can get the best out of by doing different things in the attack, by running in behind, by holding the ball up. In addition to having the ball at feet, but when you have Sancho on
Yo, I
the
need to
field,
get
when you have
off,
Grealish
man.
on the field,
I
when
need
you
to get
have
off, guys, innit? Cheers for
Sterling,
having me on, yeah.
you know, you got to have.
Safe.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Safe.
Right.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Right. The question. Right. Right.
I think he's
There you
gone.
I think he's
He's gone.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going.
Prime, where are you, Prime?
Yeah, Prime's in the corner.
Earth to
He's in the
Prime.
corner.
What
Prime's
call?
in the corner.
What is he in the calling?
No, he's in the corner next to me, but I don't know what he's doing.
I think the connection's not coming through. But yeah, I think that Donny Rover's putting a better performance than England tonight.
Yeah, but it's just a joke though. Like you don't even need a. It's not
The
even
wing was
about a
shit.
world. Yeah, but it's not even about a world class manager. It's about a half. Like Southgate's nowhere near a half decent manager. Like
He's a
you're.
League One manager. Southgate couldn't manage a League One team.
Yeah, I mean, he's been relegated. I mean, it's sort of like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're pretty much the same.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
You support Bristol Rovers, don't you?
relax.
Can I just
Let's relax. Just because England's shit doesn't mean we have to get on the Ollie. Ollie's got nothing to do with that.
Just to cut you off, would you guys take Frank Lampard as a manager to English fans?
No.
To-
No,
I would,
Question
yeah.
No,
for
and a
England.
million times no.
Neppin, I'm not asking you. You're not English, so I'm asking to the English fans only. So, would you guys take Frank Lampard?
Yes, I am, mate.
Yeah,
yes,
I
am.
would.
You would.
I'd take him. Yeah. I'd
I'm
take
just
him.
having a thought process. That's all. Okay.
I'd take him. I mean,
If Frank Lampard's in that seat, you're going to have exactly the same issues as you have with Southgate. He's
No,
not
he
gonna
wouldn't.
get anywhere.
No.
He's done nothing in his manager. He's actually done less in his managerial career than Southgate has.
Yeah, he's less qualified than
But
Southgate.
technically, I think Lampard can do much better than Southgate.
He's not a better manager though. He's not like Lampard doesn't have anything about his managerial CV that warrants him being in that seat. Like if we're critical of Southgate, if we're critical of Southgate for being in there for how little he has, why in the world would you put somebody like Frank Lampard in there? Like Gerrard would be a better shout at going in there than Lampard would, but Gerrard wouldn't get in there. So it's just like you gotta I'm telling you, there's not an English manager that exists in world football that is good enough to be in that seat. You need a foreigner, but your football association isn't going to do it because they're Brexit.
They're going to change. I think the FA will be forced to change that sooner rather than later. I honestly will.
Community Express allow that.
The FA will change.
You
their
say
ways
you
soon
say
now.
you say that about Frank Lampard, yeah, but tactically, like he can rotate the tactic, the formation, and that much better than Southgate ever did.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like all the people in the comments saying Lampard, no. Who would you have then as manager?
Potter.
You know,
No,
Graham
see, that's
Potter.
another one. No,
even
I don't.
even
You know who I would
Potter,
have?
like,
I think you want a foreigner. You got to look outside
No,
the
we don't.
country. You got to look
No, we
outside the
don't.
country. There's not anybody. You have no fellow
Every
countrymen
foreigner
managers
we've
that
ever
are
had.
yeah,
good
but
enough.
from
No
yeah,
fair.
We
exactly.
said, we said this.
Sven-Goran Eriksson and
Brian, we
Capello.
said this in the past. It didn't work. We need a manager
Crap.
who understands English
Yeah, but you
football.
use Sven-Goran Eriksson. He's not good enough.
No, but we also used Capello, who was one of the best managers in the world at the time, and he flopped because he doesn't know
Yeah.
English football. We need a manager who understands
Yeah, and
English
that's
football.
why earlier I said you need somebody who knows. Like, what about Brendan Rodgers?
But so,
That's exactly what I
the
was
reason
gonna
why is for Brendan Rodgers
Yeah.
wouldn't do it for me unless he gets sacked from Leicester.
Well,
And
no, but Brendan
Why would
Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers want to manage
so-
England when he's
Southgate,
Irish?
exactly,
Like,
he's Northern
Yeah,
Irish.
he's Northern
Southgate
Irish.
doesn't understand English football because he's never been a good manager. Lampard's the same. For me, you either go for Potter, who I think would join England because it's Brighton or England. Like it's a
My
no-brainer.
worry about Potter is I think it's the job way too heavy for him. That's all. If he
Well,
can do it, I don't mind.
maybe, but I'd still go with it. Or I'd go for Arsene Wenger.
Arsene
Wow.
Wenger. Come on,
Arsene
now.
Wenger.
No, come on. What?
Arsene
What?
Wenger. He's
Arsene
like
Wenger- what?
Are you serious? Wait, explanation, please. I'm just having a
He,
thought.
he's the
Wenger.
most experienced manager out there currently. As he is a free agent, he said that he would do a managerial job. He's the most experienced Premier League manager currently available ever. So you want a manager who understands English football? He's the guy. Like he said
Arsene
before, he'd want to
Wenger.
manage England. Why not? He plays brilliant football with attacking players. The reason why he
Arsene
didn't do it
Wenger.
at Arsenal.
Arsene Wenger's finished. He's finished. He's done. He's done.
Arsene Wenger.
You don't know that.
He's right off into the sunset. Let that man stay retired.
Yeah,
No,
man.
no,
He's like
no,
70 odd,
but
man. Just
again,
let him chill.
Again, you're missing the point. He said he'd do it. So what's it about retirement? He said he'd take the England job if he was offered it. So
Yeah, just
not-
because you can doesn't mean you should though.
No, but I would. That's the thing. I would.
Yeah, but most
because
people would take the England job if you offered it to them.
No, but I'm saying I would have Wenger because he plays great attacking football. And yeah, at the later stages of his Arsenal career, he didn't. But what players did he have? He had Giroud. With Harry Kane, with Grealish, with Saka, with Sancho, with all these players, he will play Arsene Wenger football. Again, he understands the English game.
Well,
May I just
No one
ask?
else. We want a manager who understands the English game, and you've got Arsene Wenger, and we're saying no. That's what I don't get.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Speaking of Fraudwatch, Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham board back in contact with many candidates after Gattuso. Ernesto Valverde name approached, not advanced yet. Ragnick and Ten Hag have always been appreciated. Both are in the list.
Oh yeah, put Tottenham on Fraudwatch, if you don't mind.
Crazy race still open. Sorry, continue.
Hang on 1 second. 1 second. Didn't Ten Hag sign a new contract with Ajax?
No.
Extension got triggered, yeah, because he got approached by another club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what about Jurgen Klinsmann? He said on the game earlier he wouldn't mind.
Fuck him, bro.
The thing is with Wenger, right? The one issue you would have with Wenger is he would play attractive football and that, and you would get the best out of the attacking players and midfielders, but without a solid, you would concede a lot of goals.
Yeah, but that is the same with every manager because England's defence is poor.
I mean, I think that the issue with Arsene Wenger, is that even when he had his best sides, his teams weren't that good.
Sorry, what?
I mean, they didn't. I mean, they won very little when he had his best sides.
Okay.
Actually, I was going to say something. You know, one of the asterisks against Wenger. Do you think one of the asterisks against Wenger potentially getting the job, even if he was ever in the running in the first place, was his lack of success in Europe?
Nothing to do with it, I don't think. He still beat some of the best teams to ever grace the planet. So I don't really think that
No
matters.
trophies to show for it.
Well, yeah, except the Premier League titles that he won and the Golden Premier League trophy and all those trophies.
Yeah, and there were teams around him that still won more of those.
Mm-hmm. But you said that he didn't have the trophies.
I'm not,
to show for
and
it, he
I'm
does.
like, most of this is banter. I think Arsene Wenger's an excellent manager, but he's like, we need to just let this dude sit under the trees in France and just wilt away. Like his time's done. His time's done.
Yeah, I wouldn't
it's
take
okay.
him either. I wouldn't take him either.
Like I understand Southgate's not it, but I genuinely think that there need to be some other managers. Like Graham Potter's not it either. Like, what has Graham Potter done? His football's attractive, but what has he done?
I think with Graham Potter,
He kept Brighton up in the Premier League, which nobody expected.
it's like a Southgate 2.0.
That's not an accomplishment
It is Brighton.
to warrant giving you the England job.
It is
Don't ever
Brighton.
disrespect Potter like that. Call him Southgate 2.0.
For Brighton, staying up in the Premier League is a massive achievement, and he completed that. He has an incredible. I don't like looking at stats more than I do the eye test, but he has an incredible XG, which is something we have to look at because England don't score goals. That's the issue. We don't score goals under Southgate. So score goals with Potter when he's playing very good football with a very, very good XG with fucking Maupay and Welbeck. What can he do with Grealish, Kane, all these different players? He can emulate that.
No, you're assuming he can, but no, because he hasn't proven it at.
So who will then? Who
it's
has?
not even like what. Pick another option. There are better options out there than him.
Like who?
There are.
Because if you're saying
not better English.
But like who?
Hold on. If you're going based off his XG, keep Southgate because he's done a better job at England than you can say.
Oh, Prime, really?
No, but Prime. So who?
Yeah, but it's not hard though. We've not played that many good teams.
Hold on. He's gotten England to 2 semi-finals.
Yeah, but it don't make a difference.
Hold on. Potter, with all the aesthetically pleasing football you all love, was still in the relegation battle. So
he's got Brighton.
It doesn't matter. You're talking about the fact he should get the England job.
That's the point. That's the point that I'm making too.
So that's fine. So who's out there that can take that job then?
Who's available right now? Conte.
Like who?
Conte's
not coming to England.
Come on.
Conte's not coming to England.
Well, at least try. Don't just say, why don't we have Graham Potter?
The FA is never paying Conte the money that he wants. The FA don't pay him.
That's the problem.
There are other managers available. Don't say, let's get Graham Potter. For what?
Yeah, but again, who else is there?
But that's the problem though. That's the problem right there. The Football Association in England is going to bottleneck those players. They're going to bottleneck those players. Graham Potter isn't going to be a better manager for you just because Southgate's bad. Like Graham Potter's not good enough. Nothing that he's done warrants giving him the England job. He's done a great job with Brighton, but that doesn't warrant, you should have the England job. Like Wenger, I'll give you because of his CV. Graham Potter's CV is not in that same league. So if you're going to say Potter or Wenger, you got to level up that side. You got to level up one of those sides.
That's fine. But Brian, and again, you and Prime are saying that don't get that manager, don't get this manager. So who is out there available right now that we can go and get?
Yeah, that's the problem. There isn't.
There are managers available.
But hold on,
but like who?
Hold on. Don't look at Spurs, for example. Because of the fact of they just wanted to sack Mourinho, they sacked him, but yet they had no actual plan to bring in another manager. So they're going chasing from Nagelsmann, who plays a particular brand of football, to Rodgers, who maybe you can say it's slightly similar in terms of its attacking football, to going to someone like Conte, who plays pragmatic football. It's going to very weird opposite parallels without an actual plan of how they want to move and progress. So you can suck it if you want. And all of a sudden you're linked with all these plethora of different managers trying to scramble around. They play completely opposite ends.
No, but that's the thing. That's the one thing FA are good at. They don't do that. They have their manager. They've got who they wanted. They did this with Southgate. When he was hired, There was no other person really for the job other than him. So they might find the wrong target, but they know who they want. They go and get him. They don't fanny around with getting this manager, and then next week it's this one. They ain't Tottenham. They aren't a dead organisation like Tottenham are. Tottenham are just dead. They have no sense of ambition, so they literally will go and get whoever the biggest name on the market is without actually checking to see if it works. England are the opposite. We get a very small name, someone who's cheap, someone who we think we can build up to be an England legend, but he's crap. And that's what Southgate is. That's what Hodgson was.
Okay.
That's what a lot of these England managers are.
Again,
They're
you
small
England
crap managers at that time period.
But you said England they'll have their target. So don't you think they're trying to do that now? They're looking for a target, and until they have one, they're not going to sack Southgate. There's no point in sacking him now.
I don't think that.
No, they're not because
they think he's
they've
good.
already said about him at the World Cup. They've already said about him.
I've already said this. Prime,
After the World Cup, after the World Cup, hold on. After the World Cup, if he underperforms, then he's going to get sacked, yeah?
Yeah.
So that means they're going to need a replacement, yeah?
Yeah, but they'll have one by that time period.
Okay, so until then, trust that if the World Cup, that's in Dubai or Saudi Arabia. If that World Cup is Qatar, sorry, apologies. If Qatar is the target for you guys to progress and do something in, then trust that there are building blocks in place. Look at Liverpool. They lost the Europa League final, a Champions League final, bottled a title, until they could end up winning a Champions League and winning the league. Pep came in and in his first season was terrible. Sometimes you have to build, and it's a slow build at times. Just wait for it to get there.
Yeah, but
it's different though. It's Southgate. We're not on about a Klopp.
Because of the name, you're getting bogged down by. If you bring in someone like Wenger, or actually no, let's go Potter, or even Wenger, who's at the very end of his career, just so you can play attractive football, I guarantee you're going to get battered by the big teams. You're going to get actually battered by them because your defense is not good enough.
And we'll get battered by the big teams with Southgate.
Have you got battered by any big team?
We haven't played any big teams. What big teams have we played in a competitive competition?
Croatia's a big team.
No,
they're not. They're shit.
They're not.
They got to
a World Cup final.
Of the World Cup.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. Right.
Again,
you see him today
in the UEFA Nations League semi-final.
What big teams did Croatia beat to get to the final?
And we lost to
England.
Holland.
Holland was shit.
Who did you play? The UEFA Nations League semi-final. Who did you
and they're
play?
shit.
Holland.
They're shit.
Okay, and you can only play who's in front of you.
Yeah, that's fine. So what? No, that's acceptable. But what you just said is you get battered by the big teams with Potter and Wenger, and I said we will with Southgate, because in the friendlies that we've played against the big teams, we've been battered, and that's very rare. We don't play big teams in friendlies. We don't do that.
But you haven't got battered.
No, Prime.
Yeah, but we played crap teams.
We played crap teams, Prime.
Yeah.
Shit teams. We're losing to the fucking Czech Republic. We're losing to fucking Denmark. And you don't think we're going to lose to France or Germany in that same fashion?
Well, if you're losing to Denmark, if you're losing to those teams that you guys think you should be beating, then it's a thing of you can't just blame the manager. If, for example, if Chelsea are playing, the fact that Chelsea played West Brom twice and we couldn't beat them, I can't just blame the manager. Dude, those players on the field, no matter if it's a rotated team, a second team, is good enough to beat West Brom. So I have to look at the players. I can't just say, oh, well, Lampard, Tuchel, what did you get wrong? I can't just always blame them. These lesser nations you may think that you should be beating, why can't your players beat them on the night? You had Harry Kane, the best striker in the world. Raheem Sterling.
He's not the best striker in the world.
He's not the best striker in the world, right?
He's top 2.
It doesn't matter.
He's not top 2.
Hold on.
Yes, he is.
Mason Mount just won a Champions League. Phil Foden just won a Premier League. You have all these forwards on the field. Jack Grealish came on that the whole nation raves about. Why can't you beat Scotland then? If Scotland is a lesser nation, don't just
I'll explain it. I'll explain it. Because first off, props to Scotland. They were incredible.
Yes.
They were just very good. But even then, a Scotland team that's very good still should not be doing what they did to England. It's not acceptable. We as England fans, because we're stubborn, we're English people. We're English. It's how we are. The English are very stubborn and arrogant in the sense that we want the best, even though we might not be able to actually achieve that. We don't care. We want it anyway. It's how we are with football. It's how we've always been. It's why we cry every time that we get a good result against Sweden and think that we're the best team in the world because we think we are, even though we might not be. It's how every team are. You don't think there's some North Macedonian fans out there now thinking they're going to win the Euros? They don't genuinely believe that. No. There is North Macedonia. I'm not saying genuinely. There's North Macedonian fans, and this is what I'm saying when Ryan was on earlier, saying that England and Brian. I know you stepped up for the English in a sense. We can't be singing "It's Coming Home" because it's just delusional, and he compared it to Arsenal, and again, living rent free in rivals' heads. But it's not that English people genuinely think we're going to win it. It's because it's how we and fan bases are, especially national team fan bases. What I'm saying is, there's North Macedonian fans out there. They'll be singing "It's coming home. We're going to win the Euros." They don't think that.
No,
they don't think that. Yeah. Prime, come on,
there's
man.
not. No,
There is.
Hold on.
There's Scottish fans thinking they're going to win it.
That's the difference.
Hold on, let me go. They may think that you're talking about Scotland fans now because they're drunk. And they just got a draw against Scotland or against England, who are meant to be.
They've been doing it for ages.
Hold on. Yeah, because they're drunk off.
It's not
a high of getting a draw against their rivals. Listen, as someone who supports.
No, but again, I'm not saying but I said ages. They've been doing it for weeks.
Well, hold on. As someone who supports a lesser nation in Nigeria who's not going to win a World Cup, and an Ireland team who's not going to win a World Cup.
I do Indonesia.
We don't actually think we're going to win these tournaments.
That's not what I said.
You just said North Macedonia fans think that they're going to win the World Cup or win the Euros.
No, I didn't say that. I said there's North Macedonian fans out there that will be singing "It's Coming Home," that will be saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to win it." They don't mean it, but it's how fans are, and England fans are the same thing.
They don't.
Yes, they do, Prime. Every fan base, no matter how big or small you are, will have those, especially national teams, will have those moments where you just go crazy. You don't actually think logically.
You go crazy. I understand that.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm not actually saying that there's North Macedonian fans that genuinely believe they're going to win it.
But they won't say things like, we're going to go and win the Euros or we can bring it home. They won't say that. They'll get gassed, obviously, and as you should. You should get gassed if you're, say, a lesser nation and you get a big result. But they won't say stuff like, we're going to bring home the trophy, we're going to win it. They won't say that.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. And like Vibes just said in the chat, it's only ever England fans that get bantered or roasted for backing their team for saying it's coming home. People say it's stupid. I don't ever say it's coming home because I don't think it is. But I'm not going to go and say to someone that is, oh, you're just deluded because you think it's coming home. There are some people that genuinely do think it's coming home, but that's whatever it is. But most people are saying it out of banter. Like when we lose games, there's still some fans that are like,
you can't because England fans always say, and not just England fans who always do things like this, and then when it comes to bite them in the back, they'll backtrack and say,
but there's every nation does that.
Hold on.
No, that's not true.
There were Man United fans saying 21 and 21. A lot of them genuinely believing it. And all of a sudden, when they lost out in the title race, tracking back and saying, oh, it was just a joke. We said it for banter. Same thing. Chelsea fans at the start of the season saying that we can win the league. And then when it went to bite them in the back, they backtracked and said it was only a joke. How are we going to win the league when Lampard's a bum of a manager? Fans always, you should actually think logically then. Because you can say things as a joke, but then at the end you have to actually deepen and say, can we actually do it or can we not?
No, but this is what Brian was trying to say earlier. Fans now are analysts. We have to always think logically. If we say something wrong or we have a joke, everybody instantly takes it out of context and says you're an idiot, you're delusional, you don't have ball knowledge. Fans should be able to talk nonsense in the same style of England fans saying, oh, it's coming home, singing it's coming home. Even though we're losing 8-0 to Germany, we're still singing it's coming home. Fans should be allowed to do that, yet they're not allowed to anymore. And England fans especially, whenever we do it, we get bantered.
And I agree. And I agree with that too.
There's definitely French, Italian, Belgian fans that are doing the same thing. They do it all the time. Every country does it.
But in a bantering sense, you can say it. Like, for example, I can say,
No, but that's what we do.
Like, no, but hold on. I can say, like, oh, if Chelsea get, like, Hakimi and Haaland, and if we manage to get Sancho and Varane, oh, we can win the quadruple next season. I can say that for banter. But in a serious football conversation, there are still England fans that will say it's actually coming home. In a serious football conversation,
But that's the same thing with every fan
there
base.
was Chelsea fans actually saying that we can win the league. In a serious football conversation, there were United fans saying 21 and 21 is coming. So if you're bringing all that banter into actual discussions, and then it comes to bite you in the ass, don't come back and say, "Oh, it's just banter." It's not banter. It comes to a point where
No, but that's fine. But those, and this is the same with every fan base. A certain section of people who actually believe it's coming home or believe 21 in 21, they don't speak for a whole fan base. So me sitting here, and I don't do it personally, but me sitting here banterfully saying, "Oh, it's coming home," or singing "It's coming home." Okay, 10 days later, England get knocked out. I then don't have to say, "Oh, but I did actually genuinely think it's coming home," because I didn't. So this is what I'm saying. You can't tell. There's certain people that actually think it's coming home, or 21 in 21. Yes, they can't then backtrack and say it's a joke. But people like me, people like drunk English fans in Wembley, people like drunk Cameroonian fans at the 2010 World Cup, people like all these different national fan bases. I'm not talking about clubs because it's national. This is an international thing. Every fan base of an international club in a tournament, they do this. They go mental. They sing songs that make no sense. They say things that just sound stupid in a logical footballing sense. But nobody cares, or they care now, but nobody cared back then because that was just the normal thing. 2010 World Cup is the best example of this. There was different African nations like Ghana that were saying some stupid things, some really stupid. Like, when you look at a logical sense, very silly things. Like,
do you remember in the 2010 World Cup?
It's like, no, you're not Ghana.
Do you remember in the 2010 World Cup whenever North Korea broadcast the only goal that they scored against Brazil and told everybody that they had won the World Cup? I love that. It's so funny.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. Like people used to just we didn't back then. If a Ghanaian, because they're the only team I can really remember that were kind of like this, like their fans were incredible. They would say something like, "We're going to win the World Cup." Nobody actually took that for reality. Even if that Ghanaian fan actually meant that, everybody just laughed at it as a joke. And that's what it was. Nowadays, it's always logical. That's the first thought. If I say it's coming home, no, it's not, you moron. Why is it coming home? Well, shit, England is shit. Or South Africa shit.
For me,
I know England are shit.
Look,
I know England are shit.
You could say those things, and football fans would treat you like a football fan and just say, that's a football fan.
Gunnar, let other people talk, bro. We get it.
The thing is, I get it in a banterous debate and stuff. I get it. Like, for example, in our club level, when it's like, Arsenal haven't won a Champions League, and then our trophy's gold, we're still bigger than you, North London's red, yada yada yada. I get all that in a bantery sense. That's fine, but then you can't bring that sort of banter into actual football discussions because you can't actually back that up. And when it comes to butt you in the back, you can't backtrack and say, "Oh, it was just banter." Igal does that all the time.
He does.
Igal will say something like, for example, Smith Rowe will play well for a few games, and he say Smith Rowe's better than Havertz. And then
the one that annoyed me was the English cafe.
And then he comes back exactly. But
That's the one that pissed me off.
I get that you can say something for banter, but then when you bring it into actual serious conversation, and by the way, you can say we're fans and we're not pundits. That's fine. But even the fans have serious conversations about football. If you bring banter into something serious, don't backtrack and say we were just joking, because you're not joking in that moment when we're having an actual conversation.
I agree with that.
Well, and I think for me, I completely agree with Gunnar Express in the sense that fans should be able to be given the right to be as deluded as they please. If an England fan wants to shout from the top of their lungs, "It's coming home," and mean it, you can do that. It doesn't matter. But when you do bring it into actual football and conversations, you shouldn't backtrack it. But on top of that, too, one of the other issues that I have with this whole deal is the way that, and I know this happens in other countries to a certain degree, but in England with the English game, everything is always the manager's fault all the time. And maybe issues with the fact that England can't do X, Y, or Z. Maybe it lies beyond who's in the seat. Maybe it lies who's beyond that. Because we do the same thing with our club teams. We say to our club teams, Manchester United fans are yelling Ollie out, all this other stuff. When it's not everything falls on him. Not everything falls on him. It's the same thing and that goes with any club out there. It's not solely the manager's fault, but we try to be reductionist and make everything the fault of the guy in the seat. The issues with England don't just rest on Southgate. He just gets the brunt of it because he's the guy in the seat. You can criticize.
That's what a lot of it comes down to, though. Just even
But Southgate is a problem
simple
too.
decisions. And
Southgate
Southgate
is a piece of it, but he's not the whole thing. When you have players who have done and achieved some of the things that Raheem Sterling have done and achieved, and he drops stinkers in games, that's not Southgate's fault. That's not.
Yeah, but he's been on bad form though, so it's surely you would think that as a manager.
Yeah, I didn't answer the question because my mic was muted.
Nippon, can I ask you a question? Where did you come from anyway? Because you got that bare Wi-Fi,
Fire away.
He's on some all-night bus going around London.
Hey,
or something,
where are you going?
Where are you going, Nippon?
Where are you going?
Oh, he's cut right.
I'm going to Hammersmith. I'm going to Hammersmith.
Hammersmith.
Football may not be coming home, but something is. Anyway, back to this Gunnar. To be fair, I do understand what you're saying, and I get it, but it's. I love the banter side of things too. You guys see what I do on Twitter. I'll troll and stuff like that. But when people try and bring what they say for banter into actual conversation, it's not like, for example, when I said about the whole Kepa thing or whatever, yeah? Like when I said last season, or 2 seasons ago now probably, the whole defense thing not being completely his fault, that I don't think he's that bad of a goalkeeper. I genuinely meant it. But when people kept trying to hold me back and stuff and not listen to what I was trying to say, sometimes there's some things I would just say back to troll you, because if you're not listening to what I'm saying, I might as well just troll and try and trigger you, because why not? But in actual conversations, I genuinely did back up that Kepa is not bad of a goalkeeper, and I still do believe that. I don't think he's going to recover his form back at Chelsea. I think he needs to leave our environment, but I can actually back it up in genuine conversations. But when there's Chelsea fans, for example, trying to say that trying to say stuff and I rate Declan Rice, but trying to say just go and buy Declan Rice or whatever, and just although he's Chelsea.
And you look at Declan Rice, he got found out by Scotland tonight.
Well, again, Rice is good, but saying things like, he's better than Locatelli, for example, is not good or whatever, and now we're seeing how good Locatelli is. Or there's
I told I said it on Twitter.
There are Arsenal fans now I'm saying that if we sign this player, we'll go and get top 4. We will get top 4.
Yes, it's reductionist.
I can see that being banter. That's funny. But then in actual conversations.
Yeah, but they're not signing any of them anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
I understand. Little things people say may not speak for the whole fan base, but I'm not talking about
Arsenal fans who genuinely believe they're going to sign James Maddison.
I'm not talking about the whole fan. When I speak about United fans, about how they treat Ollie, I'm not speaking about all United fans, because Brian doesn't act like that. When I speak about Arsenal fans, I'm not talking about all Arsenal fans, because you're not like that. When I speak about Chelsea fans, I'm not speaking about all Chelsea fans, because I'm not like that, and Fator isn't like that. So
Yeah, but Fator rates
Can
Werner.
I just chime in on this argument very quickly?
Do it.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 points to this year. So the first thing is
only 2.
Because obviously I've just listened to everybody make points, and I've tried to sort of dissect what everybody has said, and I've just come to obviously if I could dissect it further, but you could take all day. But there's just 2 points. Point number 1 is when people say stuff for banterous purposes, or to distinguish the difference between what people are saying as for banterous purposes, or if they're being genuine with the statements that they make. the first thing that's very important is the way they execute the statement. So if you say something that's very vague, like for example, I hear this all, like obviously every rival fan base has a point that they will use something to banter another rival fan with, but not every fan base agrees with that certain point. I'll give you an example. This is the one I was hearing a lot from like a lot of fat fan channels, and it really was annoying me last season. And it was the fact that, oh, Liverpool fans were saying that they're the greatest Premier League champions of all time. But the thing is, nobody in that statement would say, the Liverpool fans on Twitter were saying that, or some Liverpool fans, or a majority section of Liverpool fans were saying that, because, but by not saying those few words before making that statement means that you're using the same stick to beat every single Liverpool fan with. However, or every single Arsenal fan with, or every single Chelsea fan with, which is why the execution of when you're making the point and how you say the point is very important. Having said that, even if you do say it, even if you do sort of try and cover yourself for not getting bantered, because of the emergence of social media and like obviously cancel culture and all these clips channels that you see across YouTube, right? You're kind of in a no-win situation anyways. Do you get
people
what I
love
mean?
to keep receipts.
Exactly. And the thing is when you make a statement or something, or when you say something, it's the clip. When people get clipped, it takes what they have said out of context. Whereas you have to actually go back to the original source and see what they actually meant by it. So it's a bit of a no-win situation anyways. Yeah, that's basically just what I wanted to say with regards to that. It's the execution and it's the execution of what you say, and you have to always try and cover yourself across all bases so you don't get criticized. However, the reason why it's so why people can't banter with their points anymore is because of the emergence of social media and the fact that like all these social media platforms where you have like troll accounts, and now this clip culture where you just even if you try and cover yourselves in the most prevalent way possible, you still won't be able to get away with it.
Here's another thing I'll say on top of that too, is like international football is supposed to be something that you enjoy watching. The reason, the reason, so as Gunnar Express said earlier, you think about the 2010 World Cup, like it was absolutely amazing to be an African and have the World Cup on your continent. You know what I mean? It was incredible. And so of course they're going to be insane. Like they're loving what they're doing. They're loving where they're at. Like they're loving what they get to be a part of. But like, I mean, there's this sense that when it comes to England, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that a lot of English culture is like heavily pessimistic, and it leaks into your football, and it leaks into like footballing views and how fans look at players and teams, it's this like hot and cold. It's this hot and cold deal, and so like I get it. The game, part of me wants to say just enjoy it, but it's hard to enjoy what you just sat down and watched for 2 hours, right? But
yeah, trust me, that was that game was.
I watched it too. It wasn't a fun game to watch, but it's one of those things where it's just like there's a level of it where it's just like North Macedonian fans, Hungarian fans, like Finnish fans are enjoying the time that they get to be on the stage. There's a level of which English fans have a level of entitlement around the fact that they should always be on the stage. And so when you're always on the stage, you lose the sense of awe and wonder and being able to enjoy it. And so it's always got to be this analytical, like shot for shot, like let's break down why we're shit kind of deal. And I feel like people just need to relax, because here's the reality. England are going to fluke their way to the semifinals in this tournament.
No way.
They're going to fluke their
No
way to the
way.
semifinals in this tournament, and Southgate's going to stay in the seat. Like
There is no
I'm telling
way.
you,
There is
I'm
no
telling you.
way we are getting to the semi-final. I don't
Southgate,
care.
the way Southgate sets that team up is perfect for playing international football. It's perfect
There is
for it.
no way we're reaching the
It's
semi.
perfect. I bet you. I bet
Yeah,
you.
but yet we
I bet
can't
you-
break down
are
I
Scotland.
bet you. I bet you said that. I bet you said that. I bet you said that in the World Cup too. There's no way. There's no way.
But Brian, you say
Hold on,
that.
Brian, did you
Yeah,
say
we can't even break down Scotland.
Wait, but hold on. You semifinals.
Semifinals.
Especially if you finish second and you get that easier running, there's no reason why.
No,
Semifinals.
Brian,
I'm telling
what
you,
I would
man.
say to that-
I'm telling you. Southgate's
Brian, what I would
playing.
say-
Southgate's out here playing 4D chess.
Brian, what I would
Yeah,
say
but we
to
just
that,
played Scotland though. Like they're very poor.
But Charlie, do you know why? Everyone all the English fans. I'm not gonna say all the English fans. I don't want to paint everyone the same brush. English fans underestimated Scotland. I'm sure the players themselves underestimated Scotland.
And
you shouldn't do that though. International players shouldn't be doing that.
Do you think you guys are the only ones, the English are the only ones who care about beating Scotland? The Scottish care about beating you guys. They give everything for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because it's been
plus
like
'cause they drew as
nearly
well. I mean,
25 years since they were in a tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's my thing. Like England, like there's a level of there's a level of entitlement that comes with being so good that you're always on the biggest stages. There's a level of it, like, and Manchester United fans are suffering from that right now, right? Like Manchester United fans just lost the Europa League final to Villarreal, like they're the club that they love and cherish and have supported for years. Lost to Villarreal in the Europa League final. Like there's levels of which when you're always a part of the biggest things, when you're always on the biggest stages, you start to believe that that's your birthright. You deserve it. And like there's a level of which Southgate may just be out here telling, like, so for the Scottish players, like Scotland gave their all tonight and still couldn't beat England. And there's a level of which you've already won your first game. You got a point in your second game. You're probably going to have a drab third game too, but the ball's in your court to go through.
Not to be fair, Brian. To be fair,
it's not looking good.
That is
good.
But to be
Performance
fair,
wise.
can I just say one thing? Yeah, can I just say this? Yeah, to be
Sure,
fair,
go ahead.
because we got Czech Republic at home. But Czech Republic looking at this game and thinking like, all right, we only need a point just to qualify for the round of 16.
Yeah,
and regardless, we're the one that chasing the top spot. That's the first thing. Second thing, you have to look at the opponent that we're going to have to face in the round of 16. Literally, if we finish at the top of the group, we're going to get someone at least from the group F, maybe Portugal, Germany, whatsoever.
Yep.
So in our mind, thinking like, do we really want to finish top of the group, or do we want to, just give it to the Czech Republic in that?
I really do think.
Let's just get another 0-0.
I really do think like all England need to do is not lose to in their next game, and they're in. Like Southgate's job, like as fans, our desire is to want our team to win, but we also want to be entertained. Southgate's job is to win football matches with the English national team. So like he's going to do whatever it takes to just win those games, or to do whatever it takes to get through. He's looking at the long game. He's looking at the long game. He's looking at getting out of the group and then taking his chances when he gets to the knockout stages. And it's knockout football. Anything goes. Anything goes. Like that's why when England fans say there's no way we'll make it to the semifinal, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of chances that you'll make it. Like just because you hate Southgate doesn't mean that your team is bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't like you could draw Portugal. And then your team pull a madness, and in the first half an hour, you're up 3-0. You don't know what will happen, but there's this pessimism that because we've been bad, we will always be bad, and that's just not how that works.
Exactly. Plus, this England fans before the tournament were saying, "Oh, because of the run, if we finish top, we might have to face a France or a Germany or Portugal. Finishing second might be good." You now look like you could finish second it's just not what you want to get a easy, and it's in, especially at international tournaments. No, I get it. No team is. What is that? No. What is that?
I think that's Nip.
Easier though. Is it going to be easier though?
No team. I get it. That's what I'm saying. No team is easier. I get that, but
Yeah.
I
No
would
easy
rather.
game.
So what? Who could you guys face? Spain or Poland or whoever else is in that group? I'd rather face
Sweden.
Spain than I would France.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Germany. So again, in theory, again, you never know. You get to a quarterfinal, you get to a semi, and who knows? When you played Croatia, yeah,
should have won that game.
Were you not like?
He's getting to the semis, Vladimir.
Wait, Nippon, hold on. Do you remember what minute the Croatia equalized in?
It was
115th or something, 17th.
Is when they equalized Croatia.
Oh no, sorry, no. I thought no. I'm talking about the winner.
Oh, okay. But they equalized. Actually, I'll try and find out when they equalized. But again, like you were able to take them to extra time, and considering the fact that weren't they playing extra time in their other game as well? Like they were running a lot in that tournament, and that's an old Croatia team. Their legs, actually, I have it right here. Their legs could have gave way. You scored first in the 5th minute. They equalized in the 68th minute. So, like, again, who knows what could have happened if you guys could have kept them going. And they scored again in the 109th minute in the extra time, 30 minutes. Like, who knows? If they didn't score then, if you keep pushing them, who knows? Their legs could have gave way, or you could have beat them on
Prime. Mentality.
Yeah, but all of a sudden you're in a final. You're saying mentality. You've been to 2 semi-finals in the past 2 tournaments. To say that you can't potentially get to another semi-final again, and again, I know I'm saying all of this, but in the end, I'll say you're not going to win anything because I don't think essentially you will because I don't trust your defense. However, to think that you can't maybe potentially try and do something, I'm not saying, again, don't say it's coming home because that's a bit ridiculous, but think that you can't potentially do something to just completely not have faith in Southgate when he's gotten you to 2 semi-finals in the past 2 years. That's better than what you've done in the last, 30, 40 years, is it?
Yeah, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. To say that he's an absolute bomb and he's terrible, but he's done more than Capello, than Rodgers, than Sven-Goran Eriksson, than all these men in the past. Like, respect what he's doing.
Yeah,
sorry, just to cut you off. Nippon, what on earth are you looking at?
You're muted.
Yeah, what do you want me to say?
What on earth are you looking at, though?
Look, I'm at Hammersmith bus station.
What?
This guy's always out.
This guy's always out,
I
fam.
just want Southgate out. And you
Okay, that's it. Bye-bye. Bye, Nippon.
Against Scotland. It's a derby. You should always play your strongest 11 in a derby.
I can't lie, Nippon got an echo.
What I would
Honestly,
say though,
you should play your strongest 11 in a derby. It's not rocket science.
Nippon, are you sure you're at bus station? I think you might have a plan to go somewhere else, though.
I'm at a bus station. I'm definitely at a bus station.
Are you going home or are you going somewhere else?
Home.
Okay.
cheeky for talk.
But yeah, Southgate has to go. And I'm putting him on Fraudwatch.
Okay. Who do you want to replace Southgate, Nippon?
Who do I want to replace Southgate? Anyone who has an attacking mindset.
That's not good enough, you know it.
That's not good enough. No. Okay, no. Fine, Nippon.
Hold on. Do you want Frank Lampard? He plays attacking football.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
No, hold on. I'm trying to figure out who Nippon wants. You can't just say anyone. Who do you want?
Oh God, I know it's probably Graham Potter.
Okay. No, hold on. Again, don't laugh. Why do you want Graham Potter?
Because he plays attacking football. He plays exciting football. He'll definitely use Jack Grealish and Phil Foden instead of those bombs Sterling and Rashford.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Do you not want to win though?
But we're not winning anything under Southgate, though.
You're not winning anything under anybody.
Why are you gonna? What makes you win under what's his face? Graham Potter.
We'll get further.
What makes you think?
Further,
Yeah,
maybe
in the
not
past-
win.
Gareth Southgate has only managed 2 tournaments. This is his 3rd. In the past 2 tournaments, you got to 2 semi-finals. What makes you think Potter could have got you to a final, if not win any of those tournaments? What makes you think that?
It's just Southgate has his favourites.
You didn't answer my question. Every manager has their favourites, but you haven't answered the question.
Yeah, Ollie's got Fred.
Sometimes the favourites are good players.
But no, you haven't answered my question. What makes you think Potter will take? Would have taken you guys further than 2 semi-finals?
Because he will always play a strong team.
What makes you think he's always going to play a strong team? What makes you think? What makes you think?
Attack-minded.
But that doesn't mean anything. Like, obviously, you're going to play a strong team in a semi-final. But however, in the group stage of your group, in your group, why does he have to play necessarily a strong team to get out? Look at Italy. Italy haven't played their strong team in the past few games. Because Verratti hasn't played, and he's their best player.
Look, the thing now, Immobile is their best player.
No, Immobile is not their best player. Verratti is their best player.
Yeah, Verratti's Immobile is good.
How many goals has Verratti scored?
Verratti is their only world-class player.
Has Verratti been on the
done
bench?
with this guy.
Maybe you can argue Donnarumma, but Verratti is clearly
Donnarumma's
a world-class player.
great, yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Has Verratti not been injured?
Well, injured. He has. They're protecting him.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's coming back.
Prime. I got to jump out.
Okay, no problem, Vitor. But they are protecting him because there's no point playing him in their past 2 games against Turkey or not Wales, where they should be beating anyway, and he potentially gets a knock and he's out for the rest of the tournament. They might well be smart and save him, which makes sense why Southgate hasn't thrown in Sancho and thrown in Grealish when you don't need them to beat Croatia and Scotland. You shouldn't need them. The players
You may not need them to beat those teams.
He froze.
You don't need them to beat, because keep in mind, these players over the past year and a half, they've played so much football. They were in lockdown for like 2, 3, 4 months, and then they didn't get much of to get back up to fitness. They had to immediately go in to play the post-lockdown. And some of these players had to finish off playing Europa League games and Champions League games. And then they didn't get a preseason. They were thrown straight back into playing club football, playing 2 games a week, sometimes 3 games a week. You had Mason Mount, Reece James, Chilwell, Foden, Sterling, Kyle Walker, who had just played a Champions League final. A few days beforehand, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire didn't play, but he's injured, had just played a Europa League final.
A lot of miles.
Of football, a lot of miles. So it makes sense he's rotating his squad, as is some other managers in this tournament as well are rotating his squad. Do you not think if Mancini was managing England, do you not think he would have rotated the squad a bit from playing Croatia to playing Scotland? Yes, because no matter who's on your field, even a weakened side, you should still be able to beat Scotland. You should still be able to beat Croatia. You can't just say, "Oh, we're going to blame Southgate." No, the players on the field take responsibility. Sterling had to the score.
People put too much stock on lineups. I kind of wish that fans would just look at lineups and you just look at a lineup and you say, "Oh man, super excited to watch these players go out and perform," instead of trying to nitpick the manager and his poor decisions before a ball gets kicked in the game. It's like you're already starting from a negative mindset before the manager even gets a chance to roll out his tactical plan for the match. And I agree, England fans would be even more pissed if Sancho started the Scotland game and then got injured and couldn't play for the rest of the tournament. They'd be more angry at Southgate.
All of a sudden,
even if he played one of his best players, they'd be more angry. It's like you don't need to play Sancho against Scotland. He's not necessary. But only when you're not winning. It's like, why didn't you start Sancho?
Look, you say that, but it's a derby game. England-Scotland is like the North London derby. Always field your strongest 11.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Do you not get that?
Hold on, Nippin. Okay, so if Chelsea were playing, I don't know what's more important, Arsenal or Spurs. If Chelsea were Okay, Arsenal. If Chelsea
Arsenal,
were playing, if Chelsea are playing Arsenal on a Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, and on a Tuesday night, we have to go and play Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final, second leg to get through. What game is more important?
Is
semi-final.
Is the game after or before?
Is what game after or before?
The semi-final. Is it after or
Is the
before?
semi-final game after said
It's-
game against Arsenal or before said game against Arsenal?
It's
It
two
depends
legs.
on what's at
So
stake.
say before and after. It's 2 legs.
That's the thing. We all know
Okay,
that derby matches are more important to fans than they are to players and managers.
That's a tough choice. But
No, it's
but
not.
one thing for sure is I'm playing my best goalkeeper in goal.
No,
I'm
but
not
it's
gonna
not.
rotate much.
It's not. It's not. It's not a tough choice. I don't care about losing to Arsenal. I want to get to a Champions League final. I want to win.
Yeah.
No, Prime. You can't
Depending
really
on
say
what's
that.
at stake.
It
If you're
depends
still
on.
in a Premier League title race, then yeah, fine, I understand. But if say the title's already wrapped up, or the title race is gone, but second is already confirmed, or top 4 is already confirmed, again, I don't care about losing to Arsenal.
No, you're still in the. Yeah, what if you're still in the title race? And that Arsenal
If we're
winning
still in the
against Arsenal
if we're still in the
will
title
further
race,
cement your place as a.
if we're still in the title race, maybe it depends on how far we are from who's in second or who's in first or whatever. Or it also depends on the course of, say, how Arsenal have played all season and how Chelsea have played all season. Also, Chelsea's second team, in my opinion, right now, is still good enough to beat Arsenal. So that's not an excuse either. We can play a bit of a weakened
We
team.
didn't do that though, did we? We didn't do that though.
But
We
so
didn't do
what?
that though, did we? When we played them.
Again, but you're not getting my point. My point is, England's, you can say second team. It's not a second team. You had Reece James in there, Champions League winner. You had Luke Shaw, best left back in the league this season. You still had the same front three as you did against Croatia, so that's not an excuse. You still had the same back four, same goalkeeper, same midfield. You still had the same Calvin Phillips that Man United fans want to play in midfield with Pogba. So what's the excuse? And yeah, Lauren is right. England playing Scotland is not a North London derby.
It's still a rivalry though. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
but rivalries mean more to
We
fans.
should never
But
take
rivalries.
the rivalry lightly.
Yeah, but you're saying that from the again. I get it. See, and this is kind of me like going back on what I said earlier. But like fans should care about rivalries, but like you also have to recognize that like Graham Potter doesn't give a flip. Like Graham Potter, sorry, Gareth Southgate doesn't give a flip about that. He only cares about getting out of the group. Scotland just so happens to be in the group with him. He's trying to do what's necessary to get England out of the group to progress in the tournament. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to him. It's like it's gonna like the only reason the only reason that you care about the rivalry is because you didn't win. Because you didn't win. That's the only reason you don't care. That's the only reason you care about it. You didn't lose, but England fans are reacting like they got beat 6-0. You guys need to chill out and grow up here. Like, stop being babies and acting like you lost because you didn't win.
Though.
It was awful, but it was awful. But in the grand scheme, of the tournament, but in the grand scheme of the tournament, you're not gonna look back on this and be like, oh man, that Scotland game, like you're not even going to talk about it in 6 months when it comes to this tournament. You're not going to talk about it. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like for example, and I'm a big firm believer in this. Like early in the season, when Manchester United got battered by Spurs, they conceded 6. I literally looked and I was like, dude, it's like match week 4. Who cares? In the grand scheme of an entire season, it's not going to matter. And it's the same thing. And I was right, because at the end of the season, no one's talking about that result the way that they were when Man United lost. It's going to be the same thing with this tournament. Like if England go far in the tournament, none of you are going to lament the Scotland result, because the Scotland result only serves one purpose: to give you points to go through. And if you go through, you're not even going to care about Scotland anymore. It's not going to matter.
Can I say something?
Exactly. If you go over the course of a season,
we're not
for
going
example,
far in the tournament. We're getting knocked out at the next round. We're getting wiped by either France or Portugal.
Well, what if you don't face France or Portugal? So you finish second.
Get piped by North Macedonia.
It'll be Sweden,
Yeah,
Poland, or
points,
Spain.
no matter who we face.
Okay, so that's ridiculous. You like the opening match of this tournament. England beat the team that knocked them out of the World Cup. They're not that bad. Like
they're not the same England. They're not the same Croatia team.
And you're not the same England team. So pipe down.
Modric is 36.
Yes.
Everybody everywhere nipping. Everybody everywhere is 3 years older. Don't give me that
Perisic
BS.
ain't as good as he used to be.
Everybody everywhere is 3 years older. Doesn't matter.
I agree with that. However, this England team is now 3 years more experienced as well. Like Brian.
But this England team is very different as well.
What's your point?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's completely different.
When you have a negative manager in Gareth Southgate.
But you're saying a negative manager because you don't like the style of play. For example, I don't like the whole passy tiki-taka football.
Yeah, neither do I.
But Spain won 3 international trophies on the bounce, so I have to respect it. Barcelona won a treble under Pep playing that football. I have to respect it. The same way, you might not like the defensive or pragmatic football, but if it wins you trophies, Mourinho's won trophies playing that. Conte won trophies playing that way. Same as Allegri. If you're winning, it doesn't matter. And as of right now...
but we're not winning trophies with Southgate.
But you've got to 2 semi-finals, so you can't tell me that.
There's a chance. There's always a chance. You never know what your journey is going to be like.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that there. The teams who played were crap.
After Klopp lost a Champions League final, the season before he lost a Europa League final, I could have said Liverpool are not winning anything under him. He's just followed 2 finals on the world stage. I could have said that, but the next season, he won the league.
Yeah, but we're talking about Klopp here. We're talking about Klopp.
No, it's not even.
Again, you're talking about Klopp.
It's not even about.
No, you're talking about Klopp. Klopp was a bit of a laughingstock as well when he came to Liverpool. I know what he did at Germany and is respected. However, people were calling him Jurgen Klopp. When Pep came to the league and he finished 3rd, and in the season he was getting by Roberto Mancini. People were laughing at him and saying, you can't come to the Premier League and think you're going to pass your way to a title. You have to adapt to the Premier League. You can't make the Prem adapt to you.
Right. So I hear your points.
And again, he's not Pep. He's not Klopp. I'm not saying he is. Maybe he is average. Maybe you do need an upgrade. But right now, after getting into 2 semi-finals on the bounce, I think he deserves a bit of credit. He deserves a bit to see what he can do. How is it Chelsea fans can back Frank Lampard after finishing 4th and get into an FA Cup final, but you can't give Southgate a bit of credit?
I didn't. I wanted gone after we got back by Man City.
The thing, I wanted Lampard gone as well. However, I was still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if the club are going to back him with signings and they're going to give him to the end of the season, see what he can do, and give him to the end of his contract, then I have to back it and see what they can do. If the England hierarchy are backing Southgate until the where's the World Cup played again? I forgot.
Qatar.
I'm thinking Dubai. I want to go to Dubai.
It'd be really nice if it was in Dubai, to be fair.
I want to go to Dubai. But they keep saying if they're giving him until Qatar, that World Cup.
Yeah.
All your moaning and complaining is not going to change anything. At least back it and see where it can go. You might win the World Cup in Qatar. Then all of a sudden, you guys look like idiots for wanting him sacked. Because
but here's the thing, though, Prime. Here's the thing, though, Prime. Here's the thing, though, Prime. If they did win the World Cup in Qatar, or if they win the Euros at Southgate, they will give Southgate none of the credit.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That's the problem. So like there's so much agenda-based bias that there's not opportunities to just sit and watch and be fans. There always has to be analysis and just overthinking things. You're like picking apart the lineup. Why is this guy on the bench? Why didn't you bring him on in the 50th minute instead of the 55th minute? Like there's all of these things. It's like just watch the game. Like for me, as a fan of the U.S. national team, I love my team. And when we did not qualify for the World Cup, I was devastated. But I just enjoy watching teams play. I'm the same way with Manchester United. Like when I went to go watch Manchester United play live, like when I went to go watch Manchester United play live for the first time, it was when Mourinho was the manager, and it was like it wasn't the most attractive football, but I just love being there as a fan. But everybody around me, they've seen it. They've seen it all, and so they've just been like they're all just so frustrated and upset about it. And I think there has to be a level of where you just need to be fans.
Look,
just like you have things that you can learn. You have things that you can learn from fans of nations like Finland and North Macedonia and Hungary, and just enjoy the occasion and stop having to overanalyze everything. Like, who cares if your manager is shit? Back your countrymen. Back your countrymen. Stop making comments about this guy's not this guy's not this guy's not this. Like, the time for analysis can happen after the game is over. But during the game, just watch it. Just watch your team, cheer for them, root them on. I think I wonder like, people talk about the pressure that exists in England. So much of it comes from pessimistic fans, pessimistic, overly entitled fans. Some and I'm generalizing. It's not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are just pessimistic and they're overly critical, and that leaks into the players. Maybe the players could perform if they actually thought that you guys gave a rip about them, instead of we're criticizing them at every turn. Every time there's a bad touch, every time there's a missed shot, like, just support your team. I bet they probably play better. I don't know.
The one thing, Prime, I wanted to say something about when you were comparing, obviously, Klopp's run and Pep's run to
look, if
success.
we win the World Cup in 2022.
Hold on. Sorry, carry on, Gags.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to talk about when you were making the comparisons between Klopp and Pep when they first came in, and they were like, they sort of underachieved earlier on, and then obviously they built their teams up to the success that they have today. The issue I have with that is you can't really compare club football managers' journey to an international team manager's journey, because the advantage that club football managers have is that they're with the players a lot more on a week-on-week basis, and they can sort of, and he can get to know the players and understand the way that they perform, and put a play style of play and a philosophy and a set plan in place, because they have a lot longer time to work with those players. Whereas obviously when you're in international duty, your window of time that you get to work with the players are very limited. If you want to do a comparison, I think a better comparison for Southgate would be to the current German manager Joachim Löw, because he's been Germany manager for now 15 years. Obviously after the tournament he will leave, but with Joachim Löw, his first tournament I believe was the 2008 Euros. So he obviously got to the semi-finals with Germany, lost to Spain, and then his first three tournaments he was competing against arguably the best team in world football at the time, which was Spain, right? And then, but he was progressing in every single tournament, but still failing at the last hurdle, right? And then he finally came to the summit when he won the World Cup in 2014, right? And then obviously, you get that pattern with the national teams, that after they win, the team who's won the World Cup previously massively underperforms in the next World Cup. But the thing is with Joachim Löw, right, you've seen progression, like gradual progression, like down the years in major tournaments with Germany. And the thing is, the reason why the Germans and the Spanish teams are so successful is because the same style of play, patterns of play, formations are taught from schoolboy level all the way to senior level, and all these players have actually grown up together during those levels as well, and played together, and they know how to, and they play the same style of football at senior level all the way down to schoolboy level as well, which has contributed to the national team's success and the reason why they have been successful over the years. So you got to bear that in mind as well.
And that's just that kind of comes down to a bit of a cultural difference between the way that Germany's approach to the game versus the English approach to the game, right? Like I think there's a level where And my biggest problem personally with the state of the England national team, I have an issue with the English FA having to have Englishmen in that seat. And one of the things about the nation and their approach to foreigners, as well. Like, so for example, and I'll try to kind of condense this. The first American to manage in the Premier League was Bob Bradley when he managed Swansea all those years back. And fans, pundits wrote him off before he even rolled out in the seat in his first game because he was an American. Had nothing to do with his experience and nothing to do with the CV. They wrote him off because he was an American. Now, granted, he was not good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he deserved the slander that he got from Swansea fans, from pundits, and like that's and because there's such like a long memory of like failure and difficulty and struggle that people will hold on to for decades in the English game. It will be a long time before somebody who's a good American manager like a Jesse Marsh will ever have like an opportunity to, or somebody like that will ever have an opportunity to manage in the Premier League again, because everybody will be like, well, you're probably just going to be like Bob Bradley. And I think that when you have instances like that you did with Sven-Goran Eriksson, with Fabio Capello, and they don't work, the English FA are going to say, well, foreigners just can't hack it. We can only use Englishmen, which isn't the case. Sometimes you just get the wrong guy. And I feel like, to me, there's a part of it where it's important for the English FA to just put more value on that seat over just like, we'll try this. Okay, so we'll try this. That didn't work. Let's just go back to plan A since plan B didn't work. And maybe you'll see a little bit more success. Maybe you'll see a bit more fluidity and beauty in your play. And it'll be something that fans can get behind. But, I also, and, this is what I was going to put on Fraudwatch. I have a real hard time with negative, pessimistic, overly analytical fans, like, who seem like they can't enjoy the game anymore. And it's been a thing that's been bothering me all year, but it's especially bothering me at the Euros because I have no dog in this fight at all. I'm just watching. I'm watching every game, enjoying it. The United States aren't playing in it, and I don't see any other negativity coming from anywhere else except England. And that should tell you something about your fan bases. That should tell you something. People are enjoying it, but not English fans. English fans are acting like they're being drugged through broken glass every game. And so it's just kind of like it's kind of hard. It's just kind of heartbreaking, and I can only imagine that it's leaking down to Southgate and it's leaking down to the players. They probably feel that pressure, and some of that pressure is unwarranted. So of course. Some of that pressure is unwarranted. Like, you can be critical of Southgate. I don't think Prime and I are saying put some respect on the guy's name, because he's done more for you than the last couple managers in that seat have, so he deserves respect in that regard. But if he's not it, he's not it. But let's not go around the ringer here and say Southgate's garbage. He's shit. He's all this, he's all that. Like, give him credit where credit's due. But if you don't like his football, it's okay not to like his football. But don't take that one aspect of what a manager is, their tactical philosophy, and make that encompass everything that makes him bad.
Yeah, but even then, tactical philosophy, all I hear is like,
it's not fun to watch.
Defensive, or he plays with two DMs, or he plays with a back five. Like, again, it's similar with Man United. And maybe it's different because at club level you can at least buy players. But with United with Ollie, or why does he always play with Fred and McTominay in a pivot? Well, because you don't have a DM. McTominay is like 50 whatever, and you can't play Pogba in there, because if you want to play Pogba as a DM, he's not necessarily the best defensively, and that takes away from his strongest attributes, which is being able to get on the ball, spread the ball, and bring it forward. So unless you get a DM, you have to play with a double pivot, which is unfortunate, but that's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. You also don't have your midfield. So Fred and McTominay, none of them are great on the ball, which explains why Maguire always has to bring the ball forward and play it out himself, which means at times he can get caught out. and he's not the quickest, and you also don't have someone who can tuck and recover in Lindelof. So it means at times you can get exposed with your defense, but you can't just necessarily say that's an
Ali issue.
I doubt you've watched Ollie, and I'm not talking about you, Brian. I'm talking United fans. Who want him gone. I doubt you've watched him at when he was at Mold, and Cardiff was like about a decade ago. So there's no way you can tell me he's got no tactics or he doesn't have a style of play. You haven't watched him at his previous club. You don't know what his style of play is. So he could, for all you know, just be adapting to the circumstances of what he has. And this is what he has to deal with. Similar to, what's his name, Southgate. I haven't seen him at his previous clubs. I don't know if anyone else has. Like, people bring up Middlesbrough and stuff.
Yeah, I remember him at Middlesbrough, but that's about it.
But how long ago was Middlesbrough?
A long time.
Exactly. So I don't know necessarily his style of play. I can only go off what he's trying to do now. What he's trying to do, whether you think it's attractive or attacking, that's just an aesthetic thing. That's just in terms of sexy and whatever. Who cares? But what he's doing, he's got you to 2 semi-finals. Whether it looks pretty or it looks ugly, you've got to 2 semi-finals thus far. So who's to say? I mean, again, once you're getting to a semi-final and stuff like that, it comes to fine margins. Sometimes it just comes to a bit of luck. You could have like Chelsea in the semi-final, in the second leg against Real Madrid. If Benzema scores that shot and it goes in, Real Madrid could win the game because they have momentum. United against Sevilla 2 years ago in the semi-final of the Europa League, they had chances. If United take one, who's to say they don't go on and win the game because momentum switches? United in the final itself, United had chances. If they score one, they do win the game because momentum switches. Sometimes it's all about that bit of luck. England didn't get it the past 2 tournaments in the semi-finals. Maybe they get a bit of luck this tournament because, let's be honest, I know Italy are playing well. They look strong. People can argue with me, but I don't think France is that strong per se. Germany don't look the best, we all know. Portugal has weaknesses in them. And as long as you avoid those teams until you're getting to a semi or getting to a final, and you hope you're in the right side of the bracket and all those teams knock each other out, if you get to a final and you have to play a France or Italy or whoever, who's to say on the day you don't beat them based on the fact of they underestimate you? Because if England fans are saying Southgate is shit and this team is so bad, maybe they start to underestimate you as well. Then you're able to win a tournament. So I don't think it's all. And again, maybe people can say what I'm saying is hypocritical because I'm always saying England won't win. You're not good enough. I genuinely believe your defense is not good enough. But it then explains why he has to play a double pivot or he has to play a back 5 because your defense individually is not good enough. You complain about Pickford, he's a terrible goalkeeper. So it also explains why he plays with a back 5 or why he plays with a double pivot because your goalkeeper is not good enough. And Henderson, he's not good enough yet either. So what else do you have? Nick Pope is not good enough. He plays for a relegation battling side in Burnley. So what else do you have to do? You have to adapt to your circumstances. It makes sense why Harry Kane drops deep because it creates space for your wide men to run into and come in on goal. Raheem Sterling's an inside forward, a goal scoring forward. You guys can say he's not good, but the reason Rashford can't play is because he's carrying himself. He's not fully fit. And whether or not that's an Ollie issue of playing him too much, but again, with Ollie, because United don't have any quality backup wingers in reserve, Rashford has to play so much.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to actually think about context. You can't just say this manager is terrible. Fine, sack Southgate. Who are you going to bring in? Potter? Because I guarantee you're going to face similar-esque problems with Graham Potter. Graham Potter plays with a back 5, or he plays with wing backs. So what are you going to say? Why is he playing a back 5? Why is it negative if you end up playing France and they beat you 3-0? Or are you going to say, why is he still continuously attacking France when we're losing 3-0 and he causes it to be 4, 5, 6 when he should have just taken a 2-0 loss and try to kill the game off that way? Are you going to blame him and say that when you're the one who wanted him in the first place? Sometimes you have to, and I get it, we're fans and, we're banterous and we're reactionary and whatever. And I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize him. Of course, criticize him. But sometimes also try to understand what's going on, because to say that because you don't know what things are going to pan out until it does. We can all have our own opinions, but you can't actually bring them out as a fact until things play out. You never know. Maybe you don't even make it out of this group actually, but maybe you do, and maybe you get to a final and you lose in said final. But in 3 tournaments, it's a semi-final, and a final. So the next tournament, which is the World Cup, who's to say you don't win it? Who knows? So this, I respect him a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
What I would say though is I agree with everything that you have said, but what you can also look at it, and you can look at it in another way as well. So, for example, you say the
But
like
look,
player
he said,
managers.
but we got the easiest route possible to the semi.
Hold on, Nathan.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is like obviously you mentioned about how like Ollie has to play a double pivot of Fred and McTominay because the defense isn't really good enough, and obviously he overplays Rashford because he hasn't got players, he hasn't got the squad depth good enough to have someone in the team to perform at an adequate level. But the thing is, you also have to play to the ability and the strengths and the weaknesses of the opponent that you're playing against. Like for example, I'll give a perfect example. So there's a lot of games, like I'll just give United as an example. So there has been a lot of games this season where you've played against, for example, you've gone to West Brom away, or you've gone to Crystal Palace away, or even have had some of these teams at home, but played a double pivot of a Fred and McTominay against teams like West Brom, Burnley, Brightons, and your Crystal Palaces, where if you are the better footballing team, right, and you have players in your first 11 and in your squad that are better than theirs, you should be able to, the manager should be able to know how they're going to play and tactically set up so that you have more of the ball because you have more match winners and you have players that are going to be able to make a difference.
Sorry, just to cut you off. Nippon, why are you in the car right now? Where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just parked because it's bad to.
Isn't it already past your bedtime, Nippon?
No, Dad, it's not.
Nippon, you're the biggest fraud of the century. Bro. You're on fraud
You
watch
can't
right now.
for your father. Oh, he left. Man said fake taxi, you know. Anyway, sorry, Gags, continue.
Yeah, no, so that's what I was going to say. Like managers, and also when it comes to in-game management as well, like if you can see that somebody like there's a weakness in the opposition team, and obviously the manager has a very good view of what's going on in the game, and if he sees a weakness in the game at that moment in time, and he knows, and obviously he works with the players, he trains with the players, he has a week in, week out. If he knows his squad very well, he should know a player's weakness and he should know a player's strengths. And if you've got a player on your bench who's better suited to exploit that weakness, to obviously end up as a result of that, causes your team to get a positive result, whether it's a point or a win that you need at that time, like a more tactically savvy and a tactically nous manager will make that substitution to make sure that result does happen. So I get the reason why like managers will set up in a way, like in a certain way, not to obviously hide the weaknesses that they have in the team, but you also have to play to your opponent's strengths and weaknesses as well, and you also have to see how the game is being played out at that time to make certain decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The only thing that I would say, and I agree with a lot of what you said. The only thing that I would just say to the Manchester United point is, and I think this is kind of the overall point that Prime and I have both kind of been hitting at together, is that so if you're Manchester United, if you're Ali and you set up and you go away to West Brom and you play a double pivot with McTominay and Fred, it really shouldn't matter if you play those two in that position or if you don't play them together. You should have players on the pitch, period, including those two who are good enough to get you the 3 points. And for me, I feel the same way about Gareth Southgate when it comes to how he lines up his side against Scotland. You shouldn't need to not play a specific style to win a football match against Scotland. You just shouldn't need that. So for me, tactical stuff, like you obviously don't, you want to set your team up not in some ridiculous way that you'll go out and lose the game, right? But if you set your team up well enough with the quality of players, you should be able to trust them to go out and play and get the result. And I think that there's a level of which we put too much stock and stake on tactics and formations and all of these different things. We say, oh, you're playing with you're playing 5 at the back. You should be playing 4 at the back, or you should be playing this or this or this. And so we'll be reductionist, and we'll say, if we would have played this, that subtle change automatically leads to a win opposed to a draw. Or if you would have made this substitution at the 60th minute opposed to the 75th minute, there would have been enough time for that person to get into the game and to make a difference and get us over the line. And they're all ifs and buts and nothing's concrete. And so for me, when you look at the Scotland game today, regardless of how Gareth Southgate lines up, he shouldn't have to play Foden and Rashford and Sancho and Grealish all together.
Who would you go with if you were England manager?
He shouldn't have to play Foden and Rashford and Sancho and Grealish all together to win a game of football against Scotland. You have to be able to trust the players that you put out there to get the result. And we don't look at it that way. We say, if you would have played this lineup with this formation and instructed these players to do this, this is how you win the game. And that's not how it always works. So it's never that easy. We have to stop being reductionist as fans and just like stop saying that one or two things are the difference between losses and draws and wins and losses. It's never that simple in the game. And if you've been watching football for any amount of time, you know that that's not the case. But Nippin, to answer your question, I probably would have gone with a lineup similar to what Southgate played today, because I don't think that you need to start Jack Grealish to win that game. I don't. Like, you probably don't even need Harry Kane to beat Scotland. But you know, it is what it is. Like you don't always need to play your best players to win football matches. And I think that we as fans always think that that's the case. We have to play our best players to win football matches. I don't agree with that personally. Like the players that you put out there are the ones you trust to go and get whatever result you told them you're aiming for. If it's a win, you got to trust them to go and get it. If it's a draw, you got to trust them to execute the game plan and go and get it. So that's just my take on it. It's not, we can't be reductionist here, but I do see where you're coming from, though, guys. I do see where you're coming from.
Oh God, yeah. I'm not at Box Park. I'm in an underground station's car park.
Also, you see this third place thing that where teams where the 4 best third place teams are allowed to advance.
Yep.
Into the knockout rounds. I think that's very fraudulent.
Why? So? You get to see teams like Scotland, Wales, and potentially, I don't know, North freaking Macedonia.
But the thing is,
knockout games.
But the thing is when you have more teams going into the knockout rounds, the
I've
more
always
teams
preferred
it is,
round of 16 before quarterfinals, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I understand why they've done it, because of it, to expand the tournament and to have bigger and better like nations like more exposure for a longer period of time in that tournament because they want to see the best teams, the best national teams, progress further on into the competition. And one of the ways to do that is to have third place teams progress to four of the best third place teams to progress to the knockout stages. But the disadvantage of that is it kind of reduces the significance of that competition, as in the fact that
I disagree.
it kind of devalues the competition in a way, because it should only, because the more teams you have, like the sort of, so if a third place team has a chance to win the tournament, you didn't finish top 2 in your group.
Yeah, but
So
look,
why should
Germany,
you have that chance to go into the knockout stages?
Germany
You
could
shouldn't
finish
have that
third.
chance to go into the knockout
Germany
stages.
could finish
Should be top
third
2,
in their
how
group.
it was always before the last Euros. I think Euro 2016 was the first time that they introduced the third place. I'm pretty sure, and that's how Portugal won the Euros. Portugal didn't deserve to win the Euros. Hell no, they drew their first 3 games.
Who? Tell me a better team than Portugal in that Euros.
France were much better than Portugal. Germany were much better than Portugal. There were so many teams much better than Portugal in that tournament. Portugal finished 3rd in their group. They didn't win a single game.
That's the beauty of the game, that anyone can win it.
No, but the thing is, it kind of devalues it in a way, because you're giving more opportunities. No, but you're giving more opportunities. No, but you're giving more opportunities. You're giving more teams more opportunities to win that tournament. You should be able to earn it. It should be first place and second place go through, 3rd and 4th go home. How it always has been. That's just my opinion, anyways. It's a bit like the Champions League.
Nah, I disagree.
I don't agree.
No, I mean, I feel that that's the whole beauty of the sport, that anyone can win it.
No, but you have to be. But there should be an element of you being able to earn your way to winning that tournament.
Wait, what? No. What have I been doing on Instagram?
Do you get what I mean, though?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
If you say anyone can win it, then that means you shouldn't
potentially, but we won't.
If you're saying anyone can win it,
manager.
But no, it's not because you have a shit manager. Your manager's also not shit, by the way. Maybe average, which, yeah, fine, but he's not shit.
He got Middlesbrough relegated.
So what?
That means you're a shit manager. If you can't keep a team in the Premier League, what else should I call you? Good?
Do you rate Eddie Howe?
I don't.
Kind of.
He got a team relegated.
Exactly.
FYI.
People rate Son Dyche.
The players don't tools on him.
He's got burnt. People, and why do you not think the Middlesbrough players didn't down tools for him?
Do you remember the season they got relegated, by the way?
Me?
No, Nippon.
I think it was, if memory serves me correctly, 2015.
No, it was 2008-9. I think they got relegated.
That's how long they've been in. That's how long they've been in the Premier League for.
No, they
yo-yoed around since then. They came back one more time and then went back down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than that,
interesting question from Lauren. Well, which manager do you think can resurrect this England team?
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Oh, nah.
What do you mean
Anyone who has a...
What do you mean now?
Hold on.
He's retired.
Do you know who I think? Do you know who I think could have been very good for this?
Hold on, Gags. Let him go. Which manager? Because clearly Fergie's a fraud for you, so I agree. Which manager?
Oh my gosh!
Out of retirement would be a dream. But
which manager?
He's Scottish and he would never manage England. And
which manager?
He was saying, would I have Sir Alex Ferguson? And,
No,
and
who do you want? Forget Fergie. Who do you want?
Who do I want? Anyone who can use these players we have
No.
to the best of their abilities.
Don't say anyone, because I will then name you a manager and you will say no because they're not good enough. Which manager do you want?
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter. What? Okay, Graham Potter's not good enough to manage England.
Nope.
Okay,
You might as well-
look, I have to say someone English because no foreign manager will make it. Okay.
No, do you know who I would have probably have taken if you didn't get the Roma job? I would have taken Mourinho.
Mourinho? Really?
Unpopular opinion, but I reckon he would have done. I reckon he would have got something out of the squad.
You reckon? I think Conte
Yeah.
could. You know what?
Because he's a tournament manager now, Mourinho.
You know what? I think. Do you think Ancelotti could? We've had Italians manage us in the past.
Yeah, Ancelotti could, but I think Mourinho is more likely because he knows the English game a lot better than Ancelotti. I think Mourinho would have done bits with this England squad. I reckon he would have. We would have at least got us to a final.
Would he?
Yeah.
If Mourinho was our manager in 2018, would he have got us to the final of that World Cup?
100%.
For sure. He would have gotten you over the line, for sure.
Over the
Maybe
line
not
or
over the
to
line.
the final?
He would have gotten you to the final. Yeah.
Let's not get carried away here. France, no one was beating that France team.
People said that about Portugal against France in the Euros, and look what happened.
Yeah, that was just one.
That's how it works. That's how it works. They set the double decker bus up in front of their goal, and a guy that no one's ever heard of before scored in extra time. That's how it works.
So what if he's Scottish? He's managed an English team for the most of his career. I'm not saying I wouldn't take him because he's Scottish. I'm saying he wouldn't take the job.
I mean, he's too old now anyway. I don't think he would come out of retirement, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Nippin
know.
would pick Emma Hayes anyways. I wouldn't give Emma Hayes the job yet because I think she would get extremely disrespected and people wouldn't let her do her job properly. But again, she's a very, very good manager. People just wouldn't let her actually do her job because England would lose one game. All of a sudden, she's not good enough to manage England because she's a woman. That's what people are like. Wow, disrespect. Nobody has mentioned our greatest manager who has 100%. Oh, Sam Allardyce. Wow.
Sam Allardyce.
You think Conte won, but most England fans are screaming when Southgate sets up with a back five. You shouldn't play a back five with all the attacking players. You think Conte would? Oh, yeah, would, yeah. Get Sam Allardyce back, misunderstood genius. Again, the target is from England is the World Cup, and it's good to see that they're actually making a plan and a project. So if they're building towards that World Cup and they think Southgate is the guy, all this screaming and stuff for him to leave isn't going to do anything. It's it's very fair to criticize, but the thing where
Okay, fine.
Essentially, what you gonna do, you might as well make it as much of a positive environment as you can, so they can do well. The past two tournaments, a lot of it, the fact that they did well, was based on there was no pressure and expectation. And for people saying, well, it was an easy run, they should be beating these teams. I've seen you guys lose to Iceland and get outplayed. So no, there is no you should be beating these teams. Arguably, you should be losing to these teams because
we were outplayed by Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Yeah, but Prime, one thing I would say to that though, what was the consequence of us losing to Iceland in Euro 2016?
Hodgson got sacked.
There you go.
And you got a revamp of how you did it with England. You were bringing through these young players, and you're now seeing them Foden, Mount, and all of these players. You're seeing them emerge. Sterling is the only player I remember from that World Cup. No, Sterling was from the previous Euros, I think. But Sterling and what's his name? Rashford, I think, are the only main survivors from that tournament. Henderson, 3.
Yeah. Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
2016 Euros he played.
Harry Kane, yeah. 4.
Look,
4 players.
Look,
And only
if the
2 of them are
FA's
starting,
aim,
by the way, in this tournament.
if the FA's aim is to win the World Cup in 2022, if we don't win the World Cup, I want him gone.
Okay.
Anyway,
But
but
again,
that
who's to
would
say
strengthen
the
my
FA's
argument.
You don't know if the FA's aim is to win it or to do well in that tournament and to have it as a target as to where we could potentially win it. You don't know. And again, you can't just even if that's your target, because you don't win it doesn't mean you've necessarily failed. Because, for example, look at this Germany team. They've got Havertz as this generational talent. Werner, I know he's had a mare of a season, but Werner will click. And once he's clicking, and once he's firing, he's near on unstoppable. Germany have some very talented products in their within their side. You've also got France as well. The next year, yeah, it is next year technically. The World Cup next year is the last. It's probably going to be one of the last tournaments for Kante, for Pogba, for Griezmann.
They're not winning it. They're not winning it.
They're going to want to win it again.
They're not going to win the World Cup in 2022.
I didn't say they will win it. I'm saying they're going to want to win it again. So you can't just necessarily look at yourself. You can do as well as you can, but sometimes they're just going to be someone better than you. Man United improved drastically this season, but they're not going to win the league because Man City are just better than them. So
I think Pogba will go beyond the World Cup because he's still only 27, 28.
No, I know. I'm talking about the majority, like the core of this France team. But again, even then, you don't know. Maybe you can do something, and again, maybe you won't win it, but like at least have some optimism, have some faith. How can you guys go from 5 days ago saying it's coming home to all of a sudden Southgate's terrible?
I was never one of those. I was never one of those people.
You were one of. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like the English family.
He's generalizing.
Yeah, like I don't know. Just give it. I mean, we've been talking about this for 2 hours 15 minutes, but just give it like I don't know. You don't know. As like me and Brian, for example, 2 of us support, you could say, lesser nations. Like to see how England fans are is like weird and annoying. I would love it if Nigeria got to the World Cup semi-final and lost. If we got to a semi-final, like, do you know how amazing that is? And you guys are taking that for granted, and you haven't been to a tournament semi-final in about 20, 30 years, and you got to 2 on the bounce, and yet you're still complaining.
Here's a question. Who would you rather see in a World Cup semi, Nigeria or Ireland?
Nigeria. I don't support Ireland.
There it is.
I thought you were Irish.
Do you not support Ireland?
I thought you were Irish, Vladimir.
Oh no, I am Irish. I grew up in Ireland, but I was born in Nigeria.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So Ireland are your second team then?
Not my second team per se, but if they're like, for example, if Ireland are in the Euros, I want them to do well. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you there, Prime. I completely agree with you 100%. I think it's so weird to see how like England fans are acting when they, like two semifinals on the bounce. I'm just like, oh man, like yeah. I would love that. I remember the last World Cup that the United States were in. Tim Howard broke the record for most saves in the game. We got peppered by Belgium, but I was loving it. I was like having a blast watching the game.
You guys take Belgium to extra time in that tournament.
We did take Belgium to extra time. Yeah,
that's an iconic World Cup
moment. Yeah.
Game.
Yeah,
like a moment like that. Again, I think, and maybe because it's England and you guys have some sort of weird expectation. But if this was, for example,
I have no expectations going into the Euros.
I'm not talking about you specifically. Again, if Ireland had just got to a semi-final of the World Cup and a semi-final of the UEFA Nations League, or UEFA, whatever it's called, do you think they'd be complaining in this Euros if we just drew against Iceland that we should be? No, they wouldn't. They'd be excited because we just got to 2 semi-finals in 2 tournaments. Maybe we can potentially do something. If not win it, maybe we can get to another semi-final or something. Who knows? Like, I don't get all the negativity all the time. Like it can't always just be Southgate. It's a point where if you're seeing the same things happen over and over again, and you're continuously, it's like this thing of where if you're doing the same thing over and over again and it's getting the same results, then you're doing something.
Then we're just cursed.
If you're continuously blaming Southgate for certain things, I don't think it can just be Southgate. You can talk about how he's playing maybe 2 DMs. You had chances. You should have won the game. Why didn't you take your chances? You have enough players on that. You don't need Sancho. If you need Sancho and Grealish to beat Scotland, that means Phil Foden is not a great player. Mason Mount's not a great player. Sterling's not great, and Harry Kane's not great. Because you should be able
it's not Scotland. It's not the thing. It's Scotland. This, that, and the other. It's that. Oh my god.
If you need to play Grealish and Sancho, who are, let's say, they're your best players, you need to play them every single game.
No, that's not the thing.
Hold on. If you need to play them every single game, that means every other player in this England team, they're just not great. And for people saying leave Nippon alone, I'm actually not attacking Nippon. I'm genuinely just talking about England fans. I'm not attacking Nippon at all, because I know what I'm saying doesn't solely apply to him. But I'm just, again, if you're saying Grealish and Sancho have to be playing, no, why do they have to be playing right now? You're going to get out of this group anyway, and when you start getting to that quarterfinal, semi-final, they're completely fit and ready to play. Because
we're not getting to the semis. We are not getting to the semis.
Hold on. Those games are going to go into extra time, and having a Grealish and Sancho who play 90 minutes and stay at quarterfinal, but yet they're so energized because they haven't gone through playing 2 or 3 group games, so they can play the extra 30 minutes in extra time, whereas a team like, say, maybe France or whoever can't, because they have to take off maybe an Mbappe, or they have to take off a Benzema or a Griezmann, because they've played 2 group games already that they didn't necessarily have to play. You have that as a tactical advantage, no? That's a good thing.
Kind of. But I think Didier Deschamps will still play them.
Pep would do the same thing. Pep would do the same thing. Actually, no, forget it. Fergie, probably the best manager to manage in the Prem. Fergie would do the same thing. But because it's Fergie, people would respect it. But you're not going to respect it because it's Southgate. Why? Fergie would probably actually, you are a United fan. The way Southgate is playing in terms of being probably negative or whatever, or playing with 2 DMs, would Fergie do any different necessarily?
No,
Fergie
not
doesn't
really.
look like. Fergie doesn't look like the park the bus manager though.
Fergie has parked the bus in big games though. But the thing is, that's the thing. I remember the year that Manchester United won the Champions League against Chelsea. That Fergie parked the bus in the second leg against Barcelona after they scored. After Scholes scored, we sat back. We sat back and just looked to hit him on the break. We parked the bus. So it's not it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game. Now it's different. England are in a position where they don't need to go at teams and chase games. They don't need to go at teams and chase games to get results. They've done the dirty work. You only get to play 3 games in the group stage, and then you're done. You won one, you drew the next one. You're going to be coasting in this next game, and I guarantee you, if you didn't like the lineup in the first couple of games, you're probably going to hate the one in this game because there's going to be a lot of rotation. He's going to rotate it a little bit more because the position in the knockout stages is solidified. You're not going to risk your players.
You were saying something about Mancini when I was back at Hammersmith Broadway when I was on the bus. Mancini would have played Grealish instead of Sterling, because can we agree that Sterling is a shit player?
I don't think Sterling's a shit player, to be completely honest. I think
I wouldn't say shit. He's limited.
I think he might be limited, but he's just had a bad season. But players are afforded to have bad seasons and go through bad runs. That's okay.
One thing I would say about Ferguson though is although there has been games where he's been pragmatic, like you mentioned, the Barcelona away. I think it was, you said.
Yeah, no, Barcelona at home. It was at Old Trafford.
They won when Scholes hit that rocket. But there was Fergie time for a reason. People used to call it Fergie time for a reason. And the reason why they used to call it Fergie time was, the thing is, there's been a lot of games where there's been close games, so like a 2-1 or a 3-1, right? Or say like a 1-1. And the thing is, Ferguson, even in his interview with Gary Neville, I don't know if you caught it, but the one thing one thing that made him very, very different to a lot of managers, one thing that he bases his success around is risk taking. And the thing is, in the last 15 minutes, he would say that he would take off a defender and put on an extra attacker and go for it. And the thing is, in the last 15 minutes, when Manchester United used to play on whether it's on the counter attack or attack, which is one of your songs, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pressure. Eventually, all that pressure bust pipes, and because of that, they would end up winning the game 3-1, 3-2. Or 4-1 and 4-2. I vividly remember the Tottenham game in the 08-09. I think
I remember
Tottenham
it too.
2-0 up.
They're 2-0 up in the first half, and came back in the second.
And won 5-2. And even what's it called? A few years back, in 01, where Tottenham were 3-1 up, I think at half time.
Yeah,
and
at
won the
White Hart
game
Lane.
5-3. And you guys won the game 5-3. So Fergie's not always reason why City he lost to City 6-1 was because he took risk. He didn't sit back and preserve a 1-0 or a 2-1. He took risk.
You know why that works?
Yeah, and that backfired.
Fergie was at United for, is it 20-something years, 25 years?
25 years, yeah.
25 years. So he was able to build teams perfectly to his image. So he could take risks. He could trust all of those players. Do you think Southgate can afford to open up, even if it's against Scotland, and the way your defense is, you'll get beat, and all of a sudden, like for example, that UEFA Nations League game when you guys are blaming Stones and stuff, I saw you guys trying to open up and trying to play a bit high, but then you'll get beat because someone like Stones will do something stupid and you'll concede. And all of a sudden, you're all blaming John Stones and you're blaming Southgate and saying, why are you playing a bit more expansive? You know our defense is not good enough. You know John Stones or Harry Maguire or Pickford is not good enough. Why are you doing this? So it's all swings in. Fergie could probably afford to do that. I'm sure there are games that he lost, like 6-0, for example, embarrassingly, sure. But it's Fergie. So Fergie can lose 6-0 and you guys are still going to trust him because it's Fergie. Do you want Southgate to try and do that? And you might end up getting embarrassed in one game and losing 3-0. And all of a sudden you're all blaming Southgate. Why did he open up? Why did he do that? Because he was trying to take a risk and it didn't pay off.
But the thing is, I have a problem. I hear that, but when you're being risk adverse against a team who you should be able to beat by playing on the front foot, that's when I have an issue.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know though. I think that I don't know. Part of me just feels like I think that there's too much stock. This is just my personal opinion.
Yeah, we have a shit defense. I know. I think there's too much. I think there's too much stock put on philosophy, and I think there's too much stock put on lineups and tactics. Like they're not all encompassing. Like just because you have a manager who is a risk taker and has an attack minded philosophy doesn't necessarily guarantee success. It may guarantee entertainment, but that may guarantee wins. And so I think there has to be a level of balance in that. And I think that if you would have won, here's my thing with this, with the Southgate debate as well. England didn't particularly play well against Croatia, but they won, so no one cared. But you didn't win against Scotland, and your performance is relatively the same. And because you didn't win, all of a sudden there are big problems. And I'm not saying that people didn't want Southgate gone when you beat Croatia. I know people want Southgate gone, but that wasn't the narrative. That wasn't the narrative. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, we won the game. This is awesome. This is awesome." And so it's that's for me is like people whenever people say they want entertainment, they want expansive football, they want attacking football. I never believe them because as fans, we want our team to win. We want our team to win against all odds, against all costs. We want our teams to win. And so if it's entertaining to watch and we win, great. But if you carve a team open time and time and again and you don't score and you lose 1-0,
none of that matters anymore. At the end of the day, you lost the game, and so you're going to be angry because you lost. You're not going to be like, man, we lost 1-0 and got knocked out of the tournament, but man, were we entertaining to watch. Like some people might say that, but a lot of people are going to call that person deluded. So you don't want your team to win.
Exactly.
You don't want your team to win, so you don't care about the success of your team. Like for example, like what I haven't heard so far, but I know it's out there because I know how football fans are, especially on football Twitter, which is a whole nother thing. Like I know that there are probably some fans who would want England to tank this tournament just so they can have Southgate gone because they don't like him that much. And those people aren't the types of people that, one, have any right to criticize football fans for their opinions, and two, should be the people you want supporting your nation. It's the same thing with club football, right? I know I the other day I saw a guy tweet that he wanted Manchester United to lose because he wanted Ali gone that bad. And I was like, bro, you're not a Manchester United fan if that's what you think and believe. Like you have no, like he, in my mind, like you lost all respect. Like nothing that you say that falls on deaf ears now. Like your opinions don't matter. If you want to see a team you love lose because your agenda against a manager is that strong. So like, so like I feel like we have to be, again, like Prime said, it swings and roundabouts. Like the way that Southgate approaches the game, it's not going to be particularly pretty and fun to watch. But at the end of the day, all England fans want is their team to run deep into a tournament and maybe even try to go on and win it. You've had 2 semifinals on the bounce. They're a really big opportunity for you to do that again this tournament as well. I know it's easy to say, well, we're not going to win it. Have you seen the way we play? But like most of the goals you scored in the World Cup were from set pieces, and you made it to the semifinal. So there, who knows what can happen. I think just watch and see, because at the end of it, if Southgate, like here's the thing too, if Southgate wins the Euros with England, I guarantee you that no England fans will give him any credit, and that's a disgrace. You'll blame him when you lose, but you won't give him credit when you win. And that's ridiculous.
And you see that because they got to a World Cup semi-final, which they lost in extra time against a Croatia team with a World. Did Modric win the Ballon d'Or that year?
He did win the Ballon d'Or that year.
So a Ballon d'Or winner in Modric. Well, whether or not it's it doesn't matter. He won the Ballon d'Or, world-class Modric, up against Rakitic, who at that point was still, I know he was declining a bit, but he was still very good. And Mateo Kovacic, Ivan Perisic, Rebic, against a very, very good, very drilled Croatia team. And you took them to not penalties, you took them to extra time. And then you got to the semi-final in the UEFA Nations League. Whether or not people want to respect it, it's still an international tournament. Like, you got to 2 back-to-back semi-finals. You're like, even if he is average, the fact he got to 2 semi-finals must show there's something there. And to at least give him a chance in this one and the one in the World Cup. Because maybe there's something there. Maybe, again, you can get to a final and fluke a win. You can get to a final and get lucky, get a bit of luck and win it. It happens. Chelsea won the Champions League the first time doing it that way in Munich, taking it to penalties, because the chances Bayern had, they should have won.
Yeah.
But we got
and they were 8 minutes from winning.
We got a bit of luck at the end, and we were able to win it. The Man United, with all these famous goals and stuff like that, sometimes you just get a bit of luck and things happen in certain moments and you win it. Like, and again, I'm not even saying England will, because I don't believe they will, but to just completely dismiss Southgate and what he's doing or what he's trying to do, but again, I think it's crazy. You can't speak. We're fans, and we can only give our opinions because we're not pundits, right? That's what people always say, that we're allowed to have criticisms or whatever because we're not pundits. We're allowed to speak on how we feel. Then that's fine. So only speak then on how you feel. So you feel Southgate's a bad manager or that he's crap, fine. And you feel that he should get sacked, fine. But don't tell me he's never going to win us anything, because you cannot speak in an absolute when you're just giving your opinion.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's the delivery. It's all about the delivery and how you say things, anyways.
And I also don't buy the eye test, the eye test standpoint either. People say, well, the eye test. Like, what if your eyes are bad? You know what I mean? Like, what if your eyes? What if your eyes can't properly see things correctly? Like people have to recognize too that like you can have opinions, but that doesn't. But your ability to form an opinion doesn't necessarily make your opinion correct. Like opinions can be wrong, and so like people can have wrong opinions about this England team and wrong opinions about Southgate. People can say Southgate will never win us anything, but if Southgate wins you something, you have to shift your opinion.
I will hold my hands up.
No, you have to deeply apologize.
No, yeah, you can't hold your hands up. You have to give him credit. You have to give him credit.
Live stream.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. Like that's like I don't know. That's just my whole thing is like everybody talks about the eye test. Like everybody's so anti-stats or they're so anti-stats and say like, well, what does the eye test tell you? Like sometimes the eye test is deceitful because wrapped up in that is your agendas that you already bring to the table. So like if you already go into an England game expecting England to be bad, then your eye test is going to lean that direction. You're gonna be anything something goes wrong, it's Southgate's fault. If Sterling takes a touch at the halfway line and it goes out for a throw in, you're gonna blame Southgate for playing him because he's in bad form. You're not gonna blame Raheem Sterling for taking a bad touch. You know, like that. That's the thing is like you have to be like and to get it as fans, be deluded. Be like say whatever you want. If you want to scream it's coming home, do it. But if people call you on it, like own it. And that's the other thing for me. I don't feel like a lot of fans want to own their stances. I think people want to just like Prime said earlier about an hour ago in the stream. Sometimes people want to backtrack on what they say instead of just owning it. Like for example, last year after the restart of the Premier League, I was all on the freaking Avengers train with Manchester United, and it was a lot of fun. And that's fine. I have every right to do that. But like at the same, but when United start playing like crap, I have to be like, that's not who we are. You know what I mean? And it's okay to own that. It's okay to be like, you know what, I was wrong. And I think that people just are adverse to being wrong. They're saying like my views, my opinions, my stances are incorrect. So like it's like I don't know, be deluded. You have every right to do that. Say it's coming home and own it. That's okay. You're not supposed to be an analyst. You're supposed to be a fan. So
I want to be a fan, but I want to be a realist as well.
Well, you can do that. You can do that too. You can do both. You can do both of those things, Nippin. But in being a realist, what you cannot say are things as if they're absolute. You can't say we will never do this. We will never do this under Southgate. You have no idea what could take place. You can say what you want based on what you see, but even based on what you see, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that something will or won't happen.
Exactly. Because if you do that, that destroys your credibility. Because if you're saying Southgate will never win us anything, he's crap, he's terrible. If you guys win the Euros this year, and next year you win the World Cup, after getting to just 2 seasons, after just getting, wait, hold on. After getting to, if you win the Euros this year and the World Cup next year, after getting to 2 semi-finals on the bounce, the previous 2 tournaments, then all of a sudden, all your opinions and all your credibility is completely gone. Why should we believe anything you say after this? Because you're saying things in absolutes, like it's never going to happen, and it's just happened. Why should we believe you? Whereas, for example, Gagandeep or Bryant or whoever just giving their opinion on what they think might happen. If they're wrong, then they're wrong. Who cares? Because they just gave their opinion.
Yo, Prime, I'm off. Yeah, I'll see you.
All right. Thanks, bro.
Cheers. Bye.
But yeah, Nippin, you can have the final stages, then we'll end this because it's 2 hours 38 minutes.
But yeah, man. The thing is, I don't believe it's coming home. Look, every country has a delusional fan base. Heck, I've seen Scotland fans saying they could win the Euros.
I love it.
But the only thing is, no one calls them out on it because it's not England.
No, it's because Scotland fans don't always say we're winning the Euros. Scotland fans are only saying it now because they're drunk and high. They're not saying it in an actual football conversation.
But look, man,
I genuinely don't think it's coming home. But if Southgate proves me wrong, I will hold my hands up and apologise on the first live stream after the Euros.
What if Southgate take? What if Southgate takes England to another semi-final? What
If
about
he
that?
takes us, look, I will stand by my point until he wins a trophy.
But why is it okay?
That's
But
unfair.
that's annoying because you say Southgate is crap. So if he's a bad manager or a bad coach, whatever it is, the expectation shouldn't be to win a trophy. I didn't think Lampard was good enough. So my expectations were realistic. So get us top 4 at the very least and maybe win a trophy, like an FA Cup or something. My expectations were go and win the league up against Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, or else you're a fraud and you have to leave. Like, no, because he's not going to do it. It's impossible. The same way United fans shouldn't get angry for not winning the league against this Man City team that Pep's built for 5 years. It's stupid to think like that. So you have to give something realistic. So United getting top 4, that's a realistic aim. When Lampard got us top 4, that was a realistic aim. For Southgate, what is a realistic aim for him? Because you're saying he's crap and you're ignoring him getting to the semi-finals.
Realistic aim for Southgate?
Yeah.
Reach the quarterfinals of a major tournament?
Okay, it's fine. He's reached 2 semi-finals.
If you're lucky.
But he's reached 2 semi-finals. So fine, you're saying this tournament he has to get to the quarterfinals. If he gets to the quarterfinals, you have to respect him then, yes?
Kind of, yeah. Look, if
Not
he does
kind
it
of,
on a
you do.
regular basis, I will have some sort of respect for him.
What do you mean if he does it on a regular basis? This is not club football where you're playing week in, week out. This is international football. You only play about twice a month, and then in the summer every 2 years. So you can't play every single week to have a judge of that. But fine, if you're saying Lauren says here, yeah, quarterfinals is your aim, then fine. If quarterfinals is your aim, that's fine. So what if Southgate gets to a quarterfinal, or he gets to a final, or even if he loses, if he gets to a quarterfinal, gets to a semi, or if he loses in the final itself, Nippin, you cannot come and complain because quarterfinals is your aim, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
you
won't
cannot
complain so long as he reaches the quarters.
All right, cool, perfect. Brian, what do you think about England? How far do you think they can go?
I legitimately think that if because of the formatting of the Euros, it's just such a different tournament. Like if England, it really just depends on their run. But if England can avoid some of the stronger teams, which I think if they end up finishing second is very possible, I think getting to the semifinals is a realistic shot for England in this tournament. Like their issue is not like England's issue isn't not conceding. They're super compact, and that can go a long way in tournament football. Not conceding. If you don't concede goals, you're not really gonna lose games. England's issue is scoring goals, so, and goals will come. Goals will come. So I think that if England can sort out themselves up front, which it's only a matter of time, and they remain compact, they've got talent. I think that knockout football is perfect for the way that Southgate manages a team. So I think they can go to the semis before they start getting unstuck.
But what makes you think we will beat a team like France, a team like Portugal?
I mean, you might not have to.
Germany.
You might not have to play France or Portugal or Germany until you get to the semifinals.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We won't beat any of them.
Yeah, but the point that I made is that I think you could get to the semifinals, and if you get to the semifinals and you don't have to play any of them, then it doesn't really matter about whether I think you can beat them or not. Like,
yeah, but then what if we play a team like Spain or Italy?
You can beat Spain. You can beat Spain.
We're not. Look at our look. Midfield is usually won. No, games are usually won in midfield. Spain have Thiago Alcantara, Rodri.
Yeah, and Thiago Alcantara and Thiago Alcantara was so good this past year. He was excellent, wasn't it? So good for Liverpool. Like, give me a break. Like we're over here. This is what I mean.
Players play differently for club and country.
Well, apparently not, because you guys are over here yelling at Raheem Sterling. Why are you on the pitch? You had such a shit season for your club, you don't deserve to play for your country. Shouldn't you say the same thing for Thiago Alcantara, who had a horrible year for Liverpool?
Yeah, but did he not have a good game against Sweden?
I mean, they didn't win the game.
I swear he got like man of the match though.
It was a 0-0 draw.
He didn't win the game.
They didn't win the game. It was a 0-0 draw. That's the thing. Is like it was a 0-0 draw. That's what I'm saying. Like Spain are just as impotent up front as England are right now. You absolutely could beat that team. Here's the reality. Here's the reality. England. Here's the reality. England can beat anybody. Can beat anybody in this tournament on their day. That's the beauty of the game. So
you're saying Scotland could beat France on their day?
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, I can't see a team with Grant Hanley in defense stopping a team with Kylian Mbappe in attack.
I mean, it could happen.
As much as a chance of me flying.
I mean, you asked me if I thought it could happen. I say yes. Things like this happen in the sport. Like you act like a team who was. I mean, that would be like saying there's no way that Leicester City could win a Premier League. But look what happened in history: 5,000 to 1 odds. They won a Premier League. Like, it's not like it's impossible for teams who are severely like under talented, who just aren't anywhere near as talented as their opponents to win football matches. It can happen. It can happen. Like that's. I mean, I don't understand why this is like so far fetched. You can't even bring yourself to say, yeah, they would never ever beat France ever. Like, come on.
Maybe, but
They
on
could.
paper, if you put France up against Scotland, France battered them like 5 or 6-0.
Well, football's not played on paper.
Yeah, football's not played on paper. It's played on grass.
Chelsea shouldn't have even got past Atletico Madrid.
Mm-hmm. Everybody was saying Chelsea are going to get knocked out by Atletico. Then people said Chelsea are going to get beat by Real Madrid, and then people said Chelsea are going to get battered by Man City.
Exactly.
And they won every time.
Exactly.
So
United shouldn't have finished second if you're saying on paper, because United team is not great apparently. So, like, game's not played on, but anything can happen. Like, Wigan beat Man City in the FA Cup, like, anything can happen on its day. It's not the best team doesn't always win it, which is shown because Portugal won the Euros, but yet they weren't the best team on paper in the tournament. Greece
They had
have
the best.
won the
They had
Euros.
the best.
Team.
They had
You
the
see-
best. They had one of the best players.
And that mindset, that mindset right there.
Minutes in the final, didn't he?
Yeah,
He got injured.
Ronaldo went off like 15 minutes into the game. Like he went off before the first half. It was one of those things where it's like, see, and that mindset right there on paper is, I think that mindset is what a lot of England fans think when it comes to their team and how they should walk through other teams. But no one wants to admit to it. Like saying, well, on paper, England are stronger than Croatia, Czech Republic, and Scotland, and therefore should destroy all of them in every game.
I
But
didn't
that's just
say we
not.
would quote unquote destroy Scotland.
I'm not saying that you said that, but I'm saying that I think that mindset that because we're better on paper, if on paper we should dominate, then I expect us to dominate. Like, if it doesn't happen, it is what it is. Like, but you shouldn't get mad at your team for not doing something that you expect them to do. Like, you shouldn't get mad because they don't play a certain way. You shouldn't get mad because players don't do X, Y, or Z. Like, ultimately, we want our teams to win, and we shouldn't say, well, on paper this, on paper that. And I think that's so much of that mentality has leaked into the England fan base. Like, on paper, we're better than all of these teams. Like people were saying, we should win our group with ease. People were saying that we should win the group with ease. You might not win. You might not win the group. You might not even win the group, but you will make it. You're gonna make it through. Like, England's not gonna not make it to the knockout stages, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And so I think that this whole idea of like England being like we were embarrassed by Scotland, like like Scotland outplayed you. Scotland were excellent. They outclassed you, but it is what it
it's
is.
not much the England fans saying that. It's more the Scotland fans saying that we embarrassed you.
Well, that's what I mean. But you should be used to banter by now. It's a part of the game.
Look, the thing is, I'm not taking. Look, they're celebrating a draw. That's losers' mentality.
But
if I was a Scotland fan, I'd be fuming at this result. Honestly, I'd be fuming.
But there are England fans that are treating their draw like they lost 3-0, and so like both are bad. Both are unnecessary. Like, and for me, I say both are unnecessary. If Scotland fans are going into the game going, well, there's no chance that we get anything out of this game, and they get something out of the game.
A lot of Scotland fans I came across over the past few days actually predicted an England win. I predicted a draw. I actually predicted a draw.
Then why are you angry?
Just because it's not the result I wanted.
But that doesn't make any sense, Nippin. You just said you predicted a draw. If that's not why would the result that you want not match your prediction? Like if you said I predict a draw and you got a draw, you should be like, well, this is what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I expected that. I expected a draw, but I would have been happier with a win.
Well, obviously,
everybody would be happy if their team wins. Like for example, I will never pick Manchester United to lose. I don't care who we're playing, ever.
Even if you know even if you know deep down, I'm not going to win this game.
Yeah, but if somebody asks me what are your score predictions, I'm never picking Manchester United to lose. I like that doesn't mean I don't think that they aren't gonna win a game, but I would never pick them to lose. Like I'm such like I don't think people understand. I'm such an optimist when it comes to, I mean, not just football, but just life. I'm such an optimist when it comes to let's just wait and see what happens. But I don't.
Who you remind me of? You remind me of Ty from AFTV.
That's an insult. I'll do that.
That's an insult. I don't like that. But I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just like I can be optimistic, and just because I'm optimistic, that doesn't mean I'm deluded.
I wasn't trying to insult you.
You're okay. It's just because I'm optimistic, that doesn't mean I'm deluded either. Like I'm such a let's wait and see type of person. I feel like for so many England fans, in your mind, you've already made up how you're going to respond. I have the receipts for this for people on Twitter. People before the Croatia game said, I saw a guy tweet before the Croatia game, if Grealish isn't in the starting 11, I'm going to be fuming before a ball's kicked. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It has nothing to do with being in the tournament, has nothing to do with enjoying watching the Euros. You're mad because one player isn't in the lineup. That's stupid. That's stupid. Like, and I feel like that's so much of what England fans are. Grealish didn't start. Sancho didn't start. I'm angry at Southgate before his plan has even been rolled out. It makes no sense. So many England fans just need to get a grip and just stop being entitled, whiny little babies and just watch the games and just support your team. Like, you know, it's just like, we get it. All of you don't like Southgate. Stop talking about it. You know what I mean? It's just like people who are Ali out or people who are Ali in. We get it. You love Ali. We get it. You hate Ali. Talk about something else. You know, like it's the same thing with Chelsea with people who didn't like Lampard. We get it. You don't think Lampard's good enough. Stop talking about it. Talk about something else.
And exactly, and that's what I did with Lampard. I didn't like. I wanted him gone, but like,
yeah, and that's what I've done with Ali. Like,
yeah, it comes to a point where it's like he's got this 3-year contract. If we're genuinely trying to kind of change and go through this kind of long-term path, and we're backing Lampard to be the guy to do it, because last summer I didn't want Lampard, but fine. Last summer I said. And I was actually the only Chelsea fan I knew anyway that backed the signing of Chilwell, that was backing the signing of Declan Rice. Because if this is what he wants, build his vision and build his plan, let's back it 100%. Let him get his players to execute his plan. That way, You can't have any, oh, he only failed because he didn't get this player or he didn't get that player. Let him build exactly what he wants to build. That way we can accurately judge it. The same way with Ollie. You can't really, I mean, maybe in some things you can blame him, and I get that, but you can't fully judge and fully complain because there are still missing holes in that United team, and they're still outperforming what they probably should be. This England team, they've got to 2 semi-finals, so they're outperforming what they should be, considering Southgate's not even a good manager, right? So let's see what he's trying to eventually do and eventually, build. Because you said quarterfinals your target. I'm assuming that's a lot of other England fans' target as well. Quarterfinals. If he gets to the quarterfinal or gets to the semi, that's target achieved. No one can keep blaming him or complaining at him just because your preference of a lineup doesn't come out. Because in reality, we're all fans. Who cares what we want? We're not in charge of the club, or we're not the coach, we're not the manager. So let the tactics be executed. And if you lose or if you draw, whatever, then you blame everything involved. Southgate probably got some tactics wrong today, maybe. But again, his plan might have been just to get a draw. So we have to assume he got his plan right. But if you're going to blame the fact that you didn't get the win, why couldn't you score a goal? It's not like you conceded one near the other end, by the way. You couldn't score a goal. So why couldn't you score?
Yeah, and that's that. I mean, I'm the same way with Ollie. Like, I'm not necessarily like I wouldn't necessarily put myself in the quote unquote like Ollie in camp, but I'm not. I mean, you know what? Forget it. I'm Ollie in. I don't have any particular issues with him. Like I don't have any particular issues with Ollie. I recognize and understand what a rebuild is going to take, and so like for me, I just don't have any like people when people do things like. When people do things like constantly compare stuff to Ollie, or they constantly bring him up in conversation, like people are like, well, Southgate is just like Ollie. Like somebody said it earlier in the stream. Like Southgate's kind of like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's like, stop talking about it. Like stop talking about it. We get it. Like you don't like him. You think he's not good. Like what else is there to say? You know what I mean? I don't feel it necessary to always bring up how I feel about Ollie, how I feel about the manager situation at Manchester United. But I feel like every time England fans have to talk about their team, whenever it's an international break, they always have to bring up how bad Southgate is. And just like, he's not going anywhere. So you should just support the nation, support the team, back the manager, and just see what happens. But if you've already made up your mind that we're going to be bad, we're not going to make it this, we're not going to go here, we're not going to go here, we're not going to go here, then what's the point in even turning the TV on and watching the game? Now, what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a good conversation, though. We'll say I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love this debate.
But yeah, I know this.
What happened to Rachel today?
Oh, Rachel has, she has plans in her personal life to do. She actually posted a photo. She was at dinner, which is good on her instead of watching the game. But yeah, I know the stream went on longer than it should have been. Probably my bad as a host. To be fair, I'll take that on the chin. But this conversation that we were having was very interesting, and I didn't really want to stop it either. So nice therapy for England. Thank you everyone. Once again, the content. Thank you, Vibes. Thank you everyone that came on. Bryant, you can follow him on Twitter. What's your at?
It's at BK Stinson 08.
Yeah, and big up as well for the announcement as well. Do you want to speak about it a bit or no?
Oh yeah, sure. I got over here in the States. I know kind of in these streams we don't really want to talk a whole lot about religion and politics and things like that, and I always want to respect that. But I recently just got hired on as a pastor at a church here in the United States, and so I'm gonna be moving here in the next few weeks and starting kind of my journey in working as a minister. I'm super excited about that. Yeah, it's super excited about that. Something I've wanted to do my whole life, so I'm really excited to have that opportunity. I mean, evangelism is a part of what I hope to do. So yes, I don't go from corner to corner preaching Jesus, but I do try to treat people like Jesus would. That's kind of what my job is. I get to do that for a living, which I think is awesome.
Congratulations, bro. Because I
Thanks,
saw
man.
you post on Instagram and stuff, and yeah, it's amazing doing what you. I mean, I'm not religious myself, but like people who are doing what they want to do in life and following their path, you know, I always gonna commend that. But can I just say, you're a man of faith, but you know, you have Fred and McTominay in midfield. How does that work?
I think that's what helps me.
McTominay
I think
played
that's what helps me deal with it. To be honest,
It's God's plan, is it? Is it God's plan?
Oh no, absolutely not. That plan is from the devil himself. But but that plan is from the devil himself. But that's where. But here we are. I think that's why I'm so optimistic too. I just love life, man. I love being what I get to be a part of it. And Prime, I would just want to say, like, big up to you and Rachel and for all of the hard work that you guys have put in on the First Take side. And thanks for allowing people like me to be able to come on and share my opinions. I really appreciate just all the ways in which I've gotten to connect with you all, and thanks for all the invites to the show. It means a lot. So.
No problem. Anytime. It's what we do here. You know, people are allowed to have their voice and stuff, even if we're streaming for 3 hours. Jesus Christ. No one's gonna watch. No one's gonna. If you're gonna watch this back, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So essentially, we can probably say what we want now. But yeah, you can follow Nip on Twitter. I'm assuming your Twitter is Nipin Sharma. Yeah.
Nipin Sharma, and my YouTube is Nipin Sharma.
Yes. There you go. Nipin on Twitter and YouTube. Who else was here? Will dipped in and out for like about a second. Charlie was here. One Rover Vlogs. Samuel was here. You can follow him on Twitter at Samuel AFC 2000.
Mm-hmm. It's I think it's Samuel AFC 4002.
Oh, 4002, yeah, which is 2004 Invincibles.
Yep.
Word enough. Who else is here? Gooner Express, Gagandeep.
Sammy.
Is that everyone?
He's the deluded guy, isn't he?
I'm Fator as well. I'm too tired. I can't remember who else. But yeah, if I left you out, I'm sorry. But 3 hours. I'm sorry. But yeah, is it coming home?
I doubt it.
Yes. Is Southgate going to pull off a tactical masterclass? Who knows? But yeah. Bye, people.
Bye.
All these at the wheel. Tell me how good does it